Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming. Free always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss something. If that happens, we've got you covered. All 3 hours posted every day. Upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and our own audio vault, as well as the free WTSM app. Download the free WTSM app for your mobile devices, whether it be iPhone or Android. Doesn't matter. You're good to go. You can email the program if you like. JCS at 97.espnradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. You can also find the station there at 979 ESPN Radio. And if you're there, why not Periscope the program? Hey, if you're not Periscoping, why not YouTube the program? Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're well. Damn it, man. So close. Well, there's a lot to unpack there, as that was as an electric atmosphere as I can remember at the TLC Double C. A lot of fun to be there. Let me start with this. Let me go through so I don't forget anybody. Let's start with everybody that came out and had a good pregame with us. Great pregame with us as we were on the deck, the old Po' Boys deck there. That's now the Deck's deck, and it's an outstanding one at that. And we had a great time, and it was it was a lot of fun, and it was pleasurable to see each and every one of you. I talked to a lot of people. I know Tom did as well. The food's good, the atmosphere's great, and it's a simple walk on over to the arena from there. So that was fun, and then we saw people before the game and saw people after the game. We want to thank everybody there at the deck. And then from there, I ran into a lot of people there at the TLC Double C, including somebody in the bathroom from Birmingham, Alabama, who listens to the show on a regular basis. It was certainly interesting to have a conversation at the urinals, but there that was. And also ran into a guy that's been listening from Georgia for a very long time, and we took a picture together, and he was a sweetheart of a man who was overly excited to meet me, and I don't mean that as a slam against him, but it's just me. But he was excited, and we met on the steps, and he was pumped for the game, and it was a pleasure to meet you, sir.
So you took a photo. That was not the bathroom guy.
That was not the bathroom guy.
Okay.
No.
All right.
And anyhow, I met an inordinate number of people that are big fans of you and me and the Jeff Cameron Show and the work we do, and they were all really kind. And so I wanted to start by just saying thank you to those folks that we ran into. And it was nice. And then the game itself, obviously, was extraordinary. I thought that, obviously, if you're going to pick apart the game, there are elements of it in which we could have played better. Certainly, Coach K would say something similar about his Duke team. But you got a compelling matchup and an atmosphere that I've longed for. Now, I've been a big champion of this basketball team for a while, and I have prattled on at various points in my time on the air, 20 years now, in which I chided the fan base, whether it be the students or the alumni or the local community, for not going out and watching a winning product, not going out and supporting a program. For years, we had sort of a chicken or the egg thing where it was, well, you got to come out and support them and give them a chance to win close games because they have a good home atmosphere. And they'd say, well, we don't ever win any games, so I'm not going to go watch a losing product, Jeff. It's just not who we are. We're a football school, baseball school second, and back and forth. We'd go back and forth. And I'm not just talking about Hamilton. I'm talking about Steve Robinson, the red zone, and all that. I was here during the Kennedy era, all that stuff. I remember it. It ebbs and flows of Florida State basketball. And most of the time, it hasn't been pretty. But Coach Hamilton has, again, had a hell of a tenure here and in various stretches had real success, followed by a pretty steep drop-off, followed now by a nice turnaround, back-to-back years in the tournament, including last year's Elite Eight run. But what he's done is recruit exceptionally well and establish a program. And what it is to be a Florida State basketball player means to graduate, to go to class, and to play a high level of basketball, skilled basketball at that, that's enjoyable to watch and allows us to compete in the best conference in all of America pretty consistently and very well. And this was another example of that. And I felt like the reward was a crowd that was full-throated and in it from the get-go and gave this team a home court advantage they deserve, and it almost worked because that other team, that Duke team, that's an NBA team. That's arguably the most talented team I've ever seen come in here. Those kids, 3 of 5 of which will be drafted in the first round, perhaps the top 10 in the starting lineup, showed you why they were rated so highly, showed you how difficult they are to consistently hold down or attempt to hold down for prolonged periods of time, and did things that left your mouth agape at time. But guess what? So did some of our guys. And Kabengele, who I've lauded for some time, rose to the occasion and played like a big-time ACC caliber basketball player, certainly gaining the attention of NBA scouts. We have some kids like that, and we're capable in the moment of rising to that level and playing this kind of a game. I worry about where it is tonight, the energy level, the focus, the intensity. Will that be there? Because that is an emotional gut punch. That is a running kick to the boys, that last shot, the ending of that basketball game. And it can be very difficult to get back up for now a pretty stiff test on the road against Pitt that has a crop of freshmen of their own that are very good. And, you know, it's funny because the tendency, Tom, is to see a game like that and to point out, we turned it over on too many possessions percentage-wise, should have done this, should have done that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one play, and it's a great play. And Duke runs an up screen with Bolden and then flashes to the corner, which took one of our men with him. And then there's 2 others that dive into the paint. They dove immediately, basically crashing the glass at that point. We're paranoid about giving up a layup or a shot close to the rim because it's a 1-point game, so you're nervous about that, understandably. And they worked it to perfection. Cam Reddish rotates over beyond the arc. It's beautifully drawn up, and there's a millisecond of miscommunication, and it's a catch and shoot. Talented kids with wide open looks that catch in rhythm tend to make shots. He does, and we lose the game. And save for the turnovers, I thought we played about as well as you could play against an NBA roster. It's frustrating, but it could portend of really another deep run in the NCAA tournament if Florida State can find a way to elevate to that level of intensity and focus and talent on a more consistent basis. It's easier said than done. Duke gets everybody's attention, I understand. And it's a long campaign, and it's tough to sustain. But if you can hover in that area, if you can be somewhere close to the vicinity there that we got emotionally, physically, and all of that, intensity, focus, all of that, if you can do that, you can win 11 ACC games this year and give yourself a real good seed and opportunity.
Well, I think if you're trying to link the first 3 games of ACC played together, you look at the Virginia contest and we get our doors blown off, and then we come back, play Duke. I get home court matters an awful lot in college basketball, especially the way the crowd was here in Tallahassee on Saturday, which, when they were playing the pregame introductions and they had the hype video, and we've seen that hype video how many times now? 6 or 7 times. Florida game, Purdue game, and then the rest of the non-stellar, non-conference slate. That response in those moments before it goes, it raises up every hair you have on your body, and it reminded me of the way I felt going down to Tampa to watch the Lightning in the Stanley Cup playoffs earlier last year. And that's rare for this building before the game even starts. Usually you got to show them something, especially down the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like the fans along the sidelines. You got to show them something before they come out of their chair. Everybody was ready for this one. It's as loud as it's been that I can remember since the 06 Duke game against Reddick that night. That was March 1st, because there was a lot on the line that night for Florida State about a bubble, whether we were going to make the tournament. We needed to win that night. It felt like a playoff game or a tournament game in and of itself. This rivaled that. It was probably louder than that. But if you link up last week's performance to this past Saturday's performance, you'd say we're improving. We're getting better. The one concern is you can't really trust your bench guys yet. And that's what Leonard was talking about in his postgame. We got to grow those guys a little bit more. I had to shorten the bench here out of necessity, but we've got to get those guys a little bit more comfortable and in the fold. Certainly, if you're just talking about experiences, this whole roster has a load of experience entering the season, and in the past 10 days, they've gotten 2 great experiences moving forward for the type of play you're going to see down the stretch in the ACC and in the NCAA tournament. Big-time challenges, and we almost responded to it with a win on Saturday. It still feels like a gut punch.
Well, and it's hard because you see a guy that open and you wonder how it is that can happen. But as I said, go back and watch. There are countless replays of that shot and the play design. And so I went online immediately following that game, and I went again this morning and prepping for the show this afternoon. I wanted to get as many angles and as many coaches' voices and former players' voices as possible to glean what they saw, what they witnessed, and almost to a man, it was less about, oh man, this player for Florida State dropped the ball, and more about, well, you give the best coach in the game a long time to draw up a play, and he kind of can.
Well, it was about a halftime's worth of elapsed time between the baseline, the review to see whose ball it was, and then the 2 timeouts that both coaches took. And apparently, if you listen to Leonard in the heated moments after the game, he seemed to think it was on the inbounder in terms of Kumaje. He seemed to think that that passing lane should have been clearly blocked, which I found interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've watched it a bunch. I think it's a great design. I think we were hell-bent on not giving up anything around the rim. You've got high flyers and athletes all over the floor for Duke, and I think they were worried that there was going to be a screen and an attack of the rim, and they were either going to get a foul or a layup or a dunk.
Makes total sense in a one-point game.
In a one-point, yeah. And so they were hell-bent on not letting that happen, and because you are sending a man to guard the inbounds play, it's at that point, it's just a 4-on-4. But in retrospect, do you do a 5-on-4? Do you just not worry about the inbounder and maybe guard it that way? Perhaps we can play that game. I don't blame anybody here. It looks like it's a well-executed play by the best team in the country with the best players in the country and the best coach in the country. It's kind of what happens when you play Duke, and a lot of people have been on the wrong end of that, hence the reason that there is such a grudge towards the program for their consistency, not unlike what we're going to talk about in a minute in the NFL with the Patriots back in an AFC championship game for the 100th straight year. Everybody knows what you got to do. Everybody can sit down and diagram it and talk about it, but at the end, you got to do it, and we gave ourselves every chance to win that game. In truth, the bigger problem is if you're able to procure one final rebound, you win the game.
I think the really hard part for us specifically is we had the perfect view of it, because if you were to take just a ruler and draw a line from where the release of the shot is through the basket and then back towards the crowd, that's where we are. It was coming right at us, and it looked online from the moment it left his hand, and I was just hoping for back iron. That's all I could think of in that split second was, please be off the back iron. Tell me adrenaline gets in the way here.
It's funny
it was not to be,
because he caught it, and I uttered an expletive. I almost uttered it before he caught it, because you're right, we had a perfect view for it. And as the inbounds comes in unfettered, I thought, oh, blank, because he's wide open and he's in rhythm. And when you recruit the kinds of players that Duke does, and they catch a ball in rhythm, this is what they've done their whole life. They're really elite at doing it. And those moments, they're unaffected a lot of times. And, this game, it's odd because we can talk about what this game might do for Florida State eventually. But in truth, and you and I have had this conversation off the air, I think this game does wonders for an awfully young Duke team. Look, they're loaded. Okay, so what? Zion Williamson goes to the bench. By the way, he played the entirety of the first half, basically, and we're right there with a 1-point lead at half. So it wasn't like we weren't playing with him out on the floor toe-to-toe. No, I know he missed a little bit more than that, but, by and large, that game was dead equal whether he was out there or not. And he was getting layups. It wasn't like he was doing anything spectacular.
No, second chance points mostly was where he was killing us.
Our height affected him. He was greatly affected by our length, our size.
He had not seen that.
He had not seen that, and it bothered him, and it was obvious. And, no, are they better with him on the floor? Yes, but they're different with him on the floor.
Best play he made, individually speaking, the rebounds, you're standing there and you're that size, it's going to happen. But the best play he made was the pass.
Yeah.
Off the basket. And there were 2 or 3 moments, a reverse layup earlier in the game, but then it was that pass down the court. It looks like a touchdown throw. It looks like a quarterback's throw. And then the reverse layup. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters are here. and it's incredible to watch. And yet there we are with 5 minutes to go. I should say 2 minutes to go. I leaned over to Jamie. I said, these are a key 2 minutes because this thing could get to 11 or 12 if we're not careful. But if we can just keep it within, a basket or two, then that's huge going into the break, make some adjustments and see what we can get out of it. Well, we end up with a lead. And I couldn't believe they left Savoy open in the corner there for the three before the half.
Yeah, before the half.
And the way I felt the game went is at halftime, I'm looking at the scoreboard and I'm saying, how are we up by a point with as many turnovers as we've had? I mean, think about how many second chances they had. If you just looked at the amount of attempts from the field, they had way more than we did. We had to shoot really well from the free throw line just to hang in there. 3-pointers, we weren't shooting all that well. So I was like, how are we up at the break? This is crazy. And then when the game's over, I'm thinking, how did they come out of here with a 2-point win? It was the shoe was on the other foot, and unfortunately the halves were not flipped.
Well, they certainly made more threes in this game than they're accustomed to making, especially in that second half.
7 of 12.
They drained a ton of them.
7 of 12.
That's a big to-do. And we can go in through and look at the individual numbers and certainly second chance points, rebounds, all those things. But if you were there, if you were in attendance for that game, you'll remember it. And we hate the ending, but there's no getting around the fact that was something that I think most Florida State fans exited the arena thinking, okay, I'm pretty proud. I'm pretty damn proud of what we saw here today. That Duke team's going to blow the doors off some pretty compelling basketball teams in this conference because they're so talented. They overwhelm you with that talent. That's NBA talent. That's top 5 pick talent. That's not one guy on the floor. That's 3 of the 5 that have that status somewhere in that 3 to 10 range in the draft.
On a given night, if they shoot 40% from 3, I'm not talking 50. If they just shoot 40 on a given night, they're not losing that game because they're going to do all the other stuff every night. But if they can hit some perimeter shots to go along with it, that is, man.
Well, again, I think that thing, you could tell Coach K, and we'll get some audio from him and from Coach Hamilton as well later this hour, but you could tell he was excited because I think he knows this goes a long way in having his very young, uber-talented team grow up because of atmosphere, because of talent, depth, size, all the things they encountered on Saturday.
Injury adversity, yeah.
Yeah, it goes a long way. And he was ultra complimentary. All right, so we're set. AFC and NFC championship games. How'd we get there? Well, we'll talk about it momentarily. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9, ESPN Radio.
Time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
RP, it's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
Woodford for the win! Yes! Yes! Number 9 Virginia Tech at 4th-ranked Virginia. Tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Presented by Peloton.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Sharer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
This morning you're up early because you're at the DMV. So many people, it takes so much time. Do you have the right form? Are you in the right line? Your number E42, right after C23. This is confusing when your morning is hell. Just go to Taco
And let us make you breakfast like Taco Bell's Dollar Grilled Breakfast Burrito. All your favorites like eggs and bacon wrapped up in a grilled tortilla. At participating stores during breakfast hours, prices may vary, tax extra.
At Township and College Town, for the table, by the people is not just lip service, it's their mantra. Tallahassee's largest beer hall offers drafts served in steins and a unique twist on upscale pub fare. Just walk up and order for the table and grab a seat by the people. Some you may not even know. If you're looking for a more intimate gathering, Township offers The Garden, a unique setting to Tallahassee complete with outdoor fireplace and a retractable awning. Oh, and let's not forget the 32 taps and private bar. Book it for your next party or company event. Township Tallahassee, 619 Woodward Avenue in Collegetown.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
And now, an ad from Mom.
Save money on car insurance by bundling home and auto with Progressive. And cut. Oh, that was good. So are there any other things you need me to talk about, or I could do an ad for something I really like lotion? You know, I am just a nut for lotion.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Roberts Elementary School is proud to host the 10th annual Trent 10K, formerly the Trot, in honor of Trent McElroy, a Roberts fourth grader who lost his battle to childhood cancer in 2013. All proceeds from the race go to the Trent's Touch Foundation, which supports local families battling pediatric cancer. This race is a longtime community favorite and is being held at Roberts Elementary School on January 26th. The 1-mile fun run starts at 8 a.m. and the 10K and 5K begin at 8:30 a.m. You can register online, the Trent2019.eventbrite.com. That's the Trent2019.eventbrite.com. Support this race and help a local child leave cancer in the dust.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Conference championship games are set. Oh, by the way, we'll return to basketball momentarily. Florida State plays tonight. Lost in the shuffle of a heartbreaking defeat to Duke is the fact that they're on the road playing ACC basketball again. And you got to find a way to buckle up, to muster the focus and intensity and the emotional wherewithal to go up there and play a game that reveals a maturity that I'm not sure a lot of teams have. If they do it tonight, I'll be honest with you, I think I'll be surprised. I don't like them tonight on the road against Pitt, even though they're better than Pitt. They are undoubtedly better than Pitt. But the best team doesn't always win, and that's why I talk about at the end of every conference campaign, that is a much better way of deciding who the best team in the ACC was as to supposedly anointing your champion as the conference tournament winner. As much as it was cool to win that conference tournament the year that we did, in truth, that's a one-off with different incentives. A long 18-game season that features road games like this one on the heels of an emotional, heartbreaking defeat reveal a lot more about what you are physically and mentally than a conference tournament for money.
Yeah, 58-56, however you get it done kind of night, right? I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if we turn the ball over 21 times. You just got to find a way to win the game.
Agreed. I hate it, man, because I don't know that that's going to be in there tonight, and I don't obviously want to be 1-3 in the ACC. They're good enough to overcome 1-3 in the ACC, and we've been doing this long enough not to panic and jump off the train, if you will, at the first sign of adversity. But it feels like 1-3 is about to be served tonight. I could be wrong, and I'm going to be watching very closely, as I would be anyhow, but I'm going to be watching very closely to see where are we emotionally and from a maturity standpoint, because this isn't about coaching tonight. I can hear the lazy analysis now. Well, that's what you're paid to do. That's why Leonard Hamilton makes millions of dollars. Now, man, look, go through and look at every team in every conference and watch how frequently something like this happens and they have a setback because of a crushing emotional defeat the game before, 2 nights earlier, whatever it might be. You see this all the time, even from the most mature, seasoned teams, veteran coaches with championships. This happens all the time. So this is more on the players. Tonight's more on the players than it is the coaches. This is the Phil Kofers, who are 38 years old, been here forever and a day, been through the wars.
Icing up the knees.
This is a guy that's been through 2 divorces. He understands what it's like to go through the kinds of emotional stress that we're talking about. Of course, he hasn't been through 2 divorces. You guys get it. Anyhow, I don't think. That'd be something. But this is Trent Forrest. This is Terrence Mann, who's played more games in FSU uniform than any other basketball player in its history, or will have by season's end, or whatever that number is. I mean, it's extraordinary how many big games he's played, and most of these guys have. A lot of these guys have. So you got to get those guys not only to kind of take the reins, but I think from a scoring standpoint and a legs standpoint, I think the younger guys, buoyed by obviously the steady hand of veterans, can carry the day for stretches tonight. I mean, look, I'm going to look at a guy like MJ Walker, who's a sophomore, who's uber talented and really didn't do much on Saturday for us. He can score. He can dominate stretches of a game. I'll look at some of the younger players that we didn't get much from this last game and ask them to step it up. It can't all be Cobb and Gelly, but then again, can Cobb and Gelly follow up an incredible performance like the one he had on Saturday against Duke with at least a good performance tonight against Pitt?
If you're going to be somebody who fortifies the notion, and I mean, how much money did he make himself on Saturday?
Oh, a lot.
He made a lot of money, because when people are going through the low-light film for Zion, they're going to see a couple of clips from what happened on Saturday, and they're going to say, who's 25?
Yeah, 25 is a player.
I can jump up. And he hit threes?
Oh, yeah.
He hit threes in transition?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. This guy might be something that we need to think about here in the second round, or we need to see if he progresses another year, and maybe he can be a lottery pick in 2 or 3 years. But you got to come back and play in short order, just like you did on Saturday. Maybe not as efficiently, but you have to have the impact, and you have to be mentally right there, because scouts are looking at you now, dude. And so here it is. Have you grown up to be that type of star player, or are you still kind of a streaky hot and cold guy?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm a little nervous tonight. By the way, as I mentioned at the outset here, real quick, conference championship games featuring the Chiefs, Rams, Saints, Patriots. Not a real big surprise. If you look at offense, there they are, right? It's the first time since the merger the top 4 teams in scoring reached the conference championships. There it is. The Chiefs averaged 35.3 points per game. The Rams, 32.9. The Saints, 31.5. The Patriots last in that group at 27.3. Rather remarkable to think about some of the matchup angles here. Look at this. How fun is this? Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes matching up. The gap in years, 18. 18 years and 45 days apart. Hell, Drew Brees, Jared Goff, 15 years, 272 days.
Yeah, usually you only see something like that in like darts or bowling, right?
Yeah, right. It's nuts. So I, for one, am obviously very excited about the matchups. This weekend turned out to be a snooze fest. So often that round of the playoffs, unfortunately, it goes the way of the home team. Statistically, ATS as well as straight up, these teams tend to hold court. Fighting for home field advantage, having the extra rest, tends to be a thing that translates year in and year out. I think it's in the last 10 years we've seen some 2-2s and some 3-1s, but by and large, this is what's happened.
One detail I noticed across Saturday and Sunday's competition is fourth down math has made its way, man. And, you could do it in week 11, and that's fine, and you're quote-unquote aggressive. But when you do it in the playoffs around the 50-yard line, sometimes on your own half of the field, that tells me that the prevailing wisdom has finally sunk in. It's not just that you're an aggressive coach. I mean, there used to be guys who would do it, and you'd say, wow, that's just a wild, island moment. Like Belichick Monday Night Football against the Colts. You say, wow.
Which is the right move.
I get the logic, but, you don't really see that often. There's a lot of aggressive coaches now that are just – I think they're moving the curve to a point where aggressive is the standard, especially on 4th and short.
Has to be, given what I just laid out regarding offenses. And this is not going to be a 3-point game 13-10. People are going to score points. You got to score points. You got to understand risk reward, where you're at on the field here, and the value, of getting a touchdown on this drive as opposed to a field goal or as opposed to shaving 20 yards of field position. I mean, you got to understand people are lighting up the scoreboard.
I think the most shocking development of the weekend has to be 250-plus yards on the ground for the Rams because C.J. Anderson comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's like the WWE. Here's this music. You're like, what?
Yeah, no.
C.J. Anderson.
Well, the Rams' offensive line beating the hell out of Dallas' defensive line, to me, is really the wow moment of the weekend.
That's what I mean.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm just saying that offensive line was wow, because early on it's Gurley, but he's still nursing the injury, and so they're able to cede it to C.J. Anderson because that line, you might have been back there running the ball to 4 yards a carry. They were blowing Dallas off the ball. Nobody saw that coming. I don't care if you were on the Rams or the Cowboys. If you were picking the Rams, it was for different reasons than you thought that they would just line up and run the ball down their throat. That's first of all, McVay tends to fall in love with throwing the damn ball too much, and that doesn't go back to the run game. And the opposite was true here. He understood we're controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well, and they had to too because honestly, it's 7-6, especially that first touchdown. I get pressure does this, but there's an easy read that Goff misses, and it should be. Touchdown to start the game for them on their first scoring drive, and then he misses
more
another
than a few, by the
way. That game on Saturday night featured the worst quarterback play of the weekend between the two quarterbacks.
Well, and I tweeted as much. People get mad at me about this. Jameis is better than both those guys. He just is, and it's not really that close. I mean, I think moving forward, okay, so if you're going to talk about career metrics, sure, you're right. I'll argue QBR and I'll win. You'll argue some other number, you'll win. I'm talking about right here, right now, if we're drafting those three.
That was the worst game of two quarterbacks. I think the worst performance, though, goes to Rivers yesterday. He was so impatient. He reminded me of impatient Madden guy who likes to throw the ball down the field at all times. He has 4 or 5 checkdowns that go forever and a day to Gordon or Eckler or another receiver.
Yeah, I also think that the frustration was he knew, they weren't going to get any stops. It was evident that Brady could eat a sandwich. He was going to pick them apart, and so the fear that you need to score 40 today to win was very real early on. Also, he got hit on every play. The Chargers, my God, man. I get it. You're tired. Nothing went well for them in that game. It was unbelievable. They didn't do anything well.
No, they were supposed to be able to run the ball because the Patriots defense was not good against the run, and then bam, they line up, and it's like they knew the playbook. I don't know if they're starting to get the cameras out and they're monitoring other teams' practices again. But Rivers, it's a classic case of you're correct. He's getting hit way too much. But there are times when he can get the ball out of his hands on first down.
Yeah.
And it's a game of 6.
I think the desperation. I think he realized, and not to make excuses for him, you're not wrong. There were opportunities there. I just think he knew we're not getting stops.
He also imploded. I mean, he lost his poise completely. And we dressed down a lot of different quarterbacks across this league if they did the exact same thing.
All the time. And there's no doubt he did. I think being what he is career-wise against that team facilitates that meltdown, coupled with we're obviously not going to get stopped today. Great. We're not going to get a stop. I got to drop 50. And I think he just imploded. But that game's really on their defense not being able to get stops. They got nowhere near Tom Brady at any point. I mean, literally, he had all damn day. And I don't know what the game plan was for the Chargers other than we're going to come out and play this zone and never come out of it. I mean, when my man starts the game 21 of 24, throwing it all over the line, at some point, can we do something different here?
Well, he made about 15 tight window throws, to get to 21 out of 24.
So there were no tight window throws until late. But, yeah, I mean, that's nuts. It was almost comical.
It's annoying because it's always the same refrain, but it's just you look at coaching and quarterback play yesterday in that individual game, and you go, well, that's why you're not Brady, and that's why this coaching staff is not the Patriots coaching staff.
Well, that was a much grosser battle is the latter, Belichick versus Lynn.
That's funny. I walked away looking at Rivers going, dude, what's wrong with you?
But Rivers is going to Hall of Fame, and he's proven himself a gazillion times. Lynn's never done anything. So Belichick is just like, There you go.
But if that was Romo who did that, people would be killing him and he'd be a lead. But I guess it's the Dallas effect.
I think, yeah, that's part of it. Yeah. I thought Romo was a good player. You know, you can't do listen, everybody loses to the damn Patriots. That's the lesson here, is that's 8th straight conference championship game, which is extending their current NFL record. Pick your quarterbacks. Pick your people. You know, they all lose to them. Annoyingly, over and over and over again.
At least this weekend's game is in Kansas City. Because if it was in Foxborough.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
Watching these bastards in the Super Bowl again. Damn it, man.
Sorry, boys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Can sign him to a major league contract and offer him significant guaranteed money to choose baseball over football. Multiple NFL teams have reportedly put first-round grades on Murray. They may wonder, though, about his durability, according to ESPN's Ryan Clark.
When you start to evaluate him, you're going to also wonder, for a guy who runs as much as he does, can he take the pounding? Can he take the hits? You're going to hear some of those things you heard about Lamar Jackson. And I think as the process goes through, you heard Adam say 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". It's going to matter what that actual number is.
Ryan Clark, LSU star linebacker Devin White declared for the NFL draft. He's rated as the number 3 overall prospect and number 1 inside linebacker by both ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay. NFL on 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said he expects Scott Linehan to return as Dallas's offensive coordinator in 2019. Also said, though, everything on the team still being evaluated after the season-ending loss to the Rams. Linehan's been the Cowboys' OC since 2014, but he came under more scrutiny this past season, especially during the 3-5 start. Colts GM Chris Ballard said he told backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett he's not going to give him away this offseason, added it has to be the right deal where he is blown away. NBA, the Celtics will be without guard Kyrie Irving tonight versus the Nets because of a bruised right quad. They'll be out without Marcus Smart as well because of illness. Irving said he expects to return for Wednesday's matchup against Eastern Conference leading Toronto.
Everybody knows that the holiday season is also known as engagement season. Now that the season's over, it's time for some planning. Social Catering has several options for your wedding event and catering needs. They're Tallahassee's largest catering company, and they manage event spaces at venues like Madison Social, Township, and The Gathering. They can plan all of your wedding events, engagement parties, bridal brunches, rehearsals, even wedding receptions. No new rock on the finger? Hey, doesn't matter. Whatever the event, they've got you covered. For more details, email matt@madisonsocial.com. Again, that's matt@madisonsocial.com.
This is Chris Kraft with news that is sure to change the car buying landscape in North Florida. My brother Peter and I are now the proud new owners of the Infiniti dealership in Tallahassee, the all-new Kraft Infiniti. As Mercedes-Benz dealers for over 25 years early in our careers, we know how to sell and service Highline vehicles the right way. At Kraft Infiniti, our mission statement is simple: to provide our customers with a car buying experience that is unsurpassed in value, consideration for your time, and pure enjoyment. Finally, the Highline experience you deserve, and it's from the Kraft brothers. Infiniti is much more than a brand name. It's a lifestyle and it's a statement. And at Kraft Infiniti, Peter and I will go beyond your expectations in providing the best sales and service experience in Tallahassee. So come see us at the all-new Kraft Infiniti, beyond your expectations, and brought to you by the Kraft brothers. Kraft Infiniti, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, conveniently located between Home Depot and the I-10 flyover. Call 297-1488 or visit us on the web at craftinfinity.com.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
You can now quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This winter, take advantage of great rebates and 0% financing for 36 months. Learn more online at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
Coming this April.
2-1 pitch. Fly ball, left field, playable. Ronald Acuna, fittingly. He's got it. The Atlanta Braves are National League East champions.
The NL East champs are back. Catch Atlanta Braves baseball all spring and summer long on Tallahassee Sports Monster 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Breakfast from the coffee, I drop my newspaper down.
It is the Rams at New Orleans, Sundays, the early game, 3:05 Eastern Time. The Saints won 7 straight home playoff games, are 6-0 at home in the postseason under Sean Payton and Drew Brees. That is the best mark by a coach-quarterback duo in the Super Bowl era. Well, you wouldn't guess that.
You would not guess that. There's one other obvious combo out there.
That's pretty impressive, huh? Saints and Rams have split their last 6 meetings, by the way, with the home team winning every one of them. Saints beat the Rams 45-35 in Week 9 this year. That was the first loss of the season for the Rams. We remember that game. Fun game to watch. Last win, not that it matters because we're not none of the players that are on this team were on that team, but the last win at the Saints for the Rams was back in 2007. Jeez, they don't play all the time, but
feels like yesterday, but we keep doing this now. That's 12 years ago.
12 years ago. Then Sunday night, 6:40, where it will be frigid. The Patriots are at the Chiefs, and so you have a high-flying team playing in frigid weather. Didn't hurt them this past weekend against the Colts, but you do wonder. And, of course, for the Patriots, 6:40 Eastern time on the road. Okay.
Interesting because that's the site where Tom Brady went to die on a Monday Night Football game a couple of years ago, only to rise from the ashes again with pliability and alkalinity. And
just like every freaking year.
Space blankets and all that stuff.
There's a moment where you go, look at this guy. He's done. He's got nothing left. Look at that noodle arm. He's about done. Fast forward 5 years. Another championship for Brady. My God, this is amazing.
Maybe his hairpiece infuses HGH into his system somehow that we haven't figured out yet.
That's been the best part about the Patriots season was the revelation that I was 100% correct per usual, especially when it comes to wigs, that my man has been living alive for a long time. There were doubters, but those photographs earlier this year where perhaps they didn't do such a good job of wedging it quite on there the right way.
Yeah, the glue has got to be right. You know?
I don't know what it is because he's always had such a good one, man. He's always had such a good one. I don't know what happened that night.
Well, but you know what? Nobody ever brought it to the public forum of discussion when he would change from having like rock star mullet hair to very short and combed over hair.
You're like, that was quick.
And it would happen, September to October. Like, I don't think hair does that, man. Like sometimes
does. Tom's hair does whatever he wants it to do. He's Tom Brady. Matthew McConaughey's hair. He's balding in one movie. Next thing you know, he's got the greatest set of hair have you ever seen.
I point back to it every single time. U571 came out like 20 years ago, and that dude had no hair on the top of his head to speak of.
What was the one with the dragons? He's fading there too, isn't he?
Oh.
That was good, though. That's a good one.
It's a good movie?
Yeah, it's good. It's worth your time, yeah.
It's like some kind of Armageddon movie?
Oh, it's dark.
Is it him and Bale?
Yeah, the dragons are getting him. Yeah, it's good. What was the name of that?
Director Matthew, no help.
Good Lord, you two. Get it together.
Well, I never saw it. See, if I saw it, then I'd be able to help you.
Well, you knew Bale was in it. All right, so here you go.
It was on demand on my X1 box, man. I was like, oh, yeah, there's that movie. I remember when the promos came out for that.
It's good. You should watch it. Anyhow. So, yes, the Patriots' 8th straight conference championship, extending their own record. Chiefs' first conference championship appearance since 1993.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that'll hurt. That'll hurt
quarter century action.
By the way, Tom Brady is 1-2 in his career at Kansas City. He won in 2004, lost in 2005, and lost in 2014. Patriots, by the way, beat the Chiefs 43-40 in Week 6. So you recall that game
That
as
game
well.
was something else, yeah.
Well, it was the Patriots dominating for the entire first half, 24-9. In fact, at half, it's the second half where Mahomes is like, no, I'm too good for this nonsense. He went 14 of 23 in that first half, had no touchdowns, had 2 picks, looked like he had been humbled, right? We're like, oh, well, there it is. Belichick had a little something waiting on him. No, in the second half, 9 of 13, 4 touchdown passes. Yeah. And then Tyreek Hill caught the 3 touchdowns as well. He went nuts in that game.
He's still running. Yeah, that night was something else because it truly was, I think, about jitters and then the jitters going away. And that's where it gets scary because now the question was from this weekend, would he look nervous in his first playoff game?
He didn't.
Nope. So I guess he's not human.
He's a breath of fresh air. He is so fun to watch play. And again, I would think that if you're Bill Belichick, you just got to keep him in the pocket because when he extends plays, there's so much speed, and you've got arguably the best tight end in football, the fastest receiver in football. You got a stable of good enough running backs. He hurts you with his legs as well. So you got to keep him anchored in that pocket. Not that he can't make throws, but he's deadly when you get him outside and he extends plays. So if you're New England, I would imagine that everything is centered around keeping him in the pocket.
I don't know how you do it, but New England is New England, so I'm sure they'll come up with something.
That is just – I'm watching that offensive game plan against the Chargers, and I'm like, he's throwing to – this is the NFL. This is not college. This is not, Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech in the Big 12 where nobody covers anybody. This is the Chargers, who were really good on defense this year, who just put on a clinic against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Right now, I'll grant you, Brady's a far cry better than Lamar Jackson, but nonetheless, they kept him bottled up for 3.5 quarters. You watched all of that, and then this game, Brady is throwing to wide open receivers. There's nobody within 15 yards. Half of Edelman's 47 catches over the weekend were just him running wide the hell open.
Yeah, it's wide open dudes, and you're not taking any shots down the field to change an eye level. So that's the crazy thing.
Oh, man,
it's
I was just...
Your shot play is an 8-yard dig or something. That's what
it just drove me nuts.
The thing for New England, though, is that Sony Michel's healthy, and that's a new wrinkle, is that they have a featured tailback that can do a little bit more than LeGarrette Blount. Because LeGarrette Blount was a battering ram for them,
but he wasn't explosive, right?
Right, but Sony Michel is, and so now you combine that with James White, and, they even got Rex Burkhead in there because, of course, they did. But that's what they do, man.
By the way, James White, who was on my fantasy team, nobody cares, I understand, largely dormant the last 4 weeks of the season while we just made sure we knew what we had in Sony Michel. And then this game, they're like, oh, clearly the game plan is for Mr. Hill to light it up. I'm like, 15 catches would have been nice in the playoffs.
Yeah. He had that many catches, and he had no carries.
It's just crazy.
Because the last one was actually a forward pitch.
He
didn't have any actual totes.
I don't care how you get your yards, Tom. Just go get them.
That's clearly how they believe things
Just
in
go
New England.
Get 'em.
Yes,
it is impressive. Well, all right. So early on, who you got? 2 home teams?
I think so. Are the Rams going to play better defense now? Are they suddenly going to wake up and we were lamenting all season long that they have too much talent and they're not living up to it? If they're going to stop the run and then they're going to be able to run the football anything close to the way they did last game.
The difference was the Rams decided, as they should, which we said would happen, and so did anybody else that was analyzing that game over the weekend on Friday, let's say. You got to go all in on stopping Zeke. There's nothing else you should be worried about. You got to go all in on Zeke and make Dak Prescott beat you. He's not going to. Now, here and there, Dak, I'm still torn on him. I don't have a definitive answer on Dak.
This is what we were talking about last week is, just because we watch Brady and Manning and Breeze and Rivers and Roethlisberger in this era doesn't mean, and Rodgers, excuse me, in this era doesn't mean that the next wave is going to be that good.
Well,
they might be flawed.
Well, right, and they should be flawed, especially by way of comparison to Hall of Fame quarterbacks, all-time greats, as in arguably the greatest to ever play the game. But Dak is weird. When they call a better game for him, meaning they let him run and utilize the fact that he is a really good runner, like one of the things that I like about Russell Wilson is that he will hurt you from the pocket. He's a much better passer than the guys we're talking about right now. We knew that coming out of college because we saw him so close at NC State, right?
He was better at that than he was a runner, and he was a really good runner.
He was a really good runner and a really good baseball player and all that other stuff, right? But he could hurt you if things broke down, or if he decided, if it was a design run, he could really hurt you. But he wanted to beat you with his arm, with his brains, from the pocket, could do all of those things, right?
Yes.
He was just undersized.
No, the hellified thing about game planning for him was you couldn't actually rush him. You had to keep the rushing lanes closed.
That's right.
That's so annoying.
And he still made a lot of great plays even when you did all of that. All right, so that's why you and I liked him coming out of college and said, you know what? He's going to fall, but I really like him. Well, I feel like in time, Dak can be a lot like that, but they should call more design runs for him because he's really good at it. And then that allows for the passing game to get going a little bit better. But when you don't do that, and he has to throw when you've shut down Zeke, he's clearly shown that ain't happening. That first year with that offensive line, he was throwing from the standpoint that they had established all these other things in the run game. That's not happening now. So the Rams were right to go all in and say, hey, you got to beat us. You're not going to beat us. You got to beat us. Because I know Zeke can beat us. I know. We saw those stats, right? Touches the ball 30 times. If he has over 20 carries, you're screwed. So they're saying, sell out to stop the run. We'll worry about what comes next. Well, if you're the Rams, you can't do that against the Saints. They'll try to do it against Kamara, but it's really, because Breeze will hurt you. And now his arm is looking suspect at this stage of his career. The second half of the season it has.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's hurt or something's wrong, if that's wear and tear. He can't hit the deep ball right now, but he can sure hit the intermediate, and he's also smart with the football.
Best deep ball yesterday was Taysom Hill, and it was called back on the hold.
It was a laser,
Andrews Pete had a bad day, didn't he?
Oh, my God. But also, they got to stop with this ticky-tack nonsense out on the edges. We've seen too many linemen getting called for that stuff.
Okay,
Stop. Can we play football?
And we know about this too, and I'm not a Cowboys apologist. I might have had interest in the Cowboys this weekend, but how about on that drive before halftime? You're going to call that hands to the face.
Yeah.
You're going to call that hands to the – that changes the course of everything that followed.
Well, and I think in general, so before the interception with Alshon Jeffrey, the Saints game, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? We're going to call this – if I were an official and we were in the playoffs – and it's third down, men are going to have to be men. I'm not calling much of anything. It's understood. We can't call ticky-tack.
Backside. I mean, that's 3rd and 14, whatever it is. Are you kidding me?
I know.
That touchdown drive changed everything.
Time, the circumstances in a game, not just the time of the game, but when it's being played, what's at stake, it does matter. When in doubt, side with letting these guys, these warriors, decide the game. They know what the deal is. Both parties know the deal. When it's all on the line here, we're going to push it to the envelope, and you're going to do it, and I'm going to do it. Let us decide the game. No ticky-tack nonsense. Let's not be, technically that is a penalty. It's away from the book. Stop it. Just stop doing it. But see, if you had that mindset as an official, if it was ingrained in you not to call those kinds of plays that are, then you wouldn't call it. But they clearly, the opposite has been said to them, when in doubt, call, because they want more offense. They want more offense.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Stockholm's new city government coalition cast doubts about spending taxpayer money on the two-week event and asked the Swedish Olympic Committee for more details. Fox says it does not intend to bid for any of the Fox regional sports networks that Disney may sell as required by the consent decree with the U.S. Department of Justice. That's according to a regulatory filing. One of the WNBA's original franchises could be under new ownership soon. According to the New York Times, an investment group led by billionaire Joseph Tsai is close to an agreement to purchase the Liberty. The team is currently owned by the Madison Square Garden Company. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Not getting the yardage you used to? Try some Blue Emu Continuous Spray or Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream now. Stop throwing Hail Marys at relief. Both are non-greasy, fast-acting, penetrative pain relief that works effectively to get down deep to the source of pain. Safe to use daily. No burning, no stinging, never greasy, and always odor-free. Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink. Available at retailers nationwide.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only, offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050. Hey, sports fans, who's on your Mount Rushmore of baseball? I'm going with Ruth, Cobb, Aaron, and Mantle. Football, I've got Bradshaw, Peyton, Montana, and Brady. In basketball, Jabbar, Jordan, Bird, and LeBron. This debate could go on, but when it comes to the Mount Rushmore of personal injury law in Tallahassee, the choice is clear. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm, so avoid the underdog and go with the favorite. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray declared for the NFL draft. The Oakland A's have attempted to keep Murray, their first-round pick last year, away from the draft. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports MLB's even given the A's clearance to offer him a major league contract. If the 5'10" Heisman Trophy-winning Murray ultimately decides on football, is he a franchise quarterback? Well, that depends, explains ESPN's Louis Riddick.
The team feels as though they have a coach in place, a system in place that fits what he brings to the table, or they can morph their system around him, and they feel like he's someone who he could be a quarterback in their system for the next 10 years. That defines a franchise quarterback. If they think his skill set transfers to the NFL, as many other quarterbacks who are height challenged have transferred to the NFL, then he's a franchise quarterback.
Murray's got 72 hours to choose to withdraw from the draft. NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Rockets center Clint Capella injured right thumb, out 4 to 6 weeks. For the fourth straight week, Duke is the top-ranked college basketball team in the latest AP poll. The Blue Devils face Syracuse tonight, 7 Eastern, ESPN TV and the ESPN app.
It's time for some Straight Talk. You can get the same 4G LTE coverage as the big wireless companies, but pay less with Straight Talk. Great excuse for a celebration dance. Get coverage on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
to the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Always fun on a Monday because we get to talk to my man, Irashfel, warchant.com, the website, of course. By the way, go check out warchant.com. I say that on a regular basis, but I say it again here because there's a really cool piece pinned by Ira Shafel here. It's about the transfer portal. We love the portal. And just how many – I didn't know, as we welcome him in now, Ira, I didn't realize how many people were in the portal. That's a ton. Over 1,000 Division I football players?
According to various reports, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't have access to it necessarily because it's for the coaches, but several coaches have said that, in fact. I think Mike Gundy said it and a few other people have said it. I mean, I think the question, is who's not in the portal? I think the portal is where you want to be, Jeff. The portal is where all the cool kids are.
I'm swimming in the portal looking for offensive linemen, believe me. I'm searching every round, every turn in that portal, man. And all of those FSU coaches better be, too. We'll get back to the portal momentarily. Let's talk about the greatness that ended tragically, if you will, in a sports context of that atmosphere at the TLC on Saturday. I've been going to games at Florida State in that arena for a very, very long time, all the way back to 91. And this was as good as I can remember it. It was exhilarating. It was fun to watch. It was rewarding. It made me smile ear to ear because I feel like the program in recent years has earned it. I was happy for Leonard. Everything was great until that last wide open three. But give me your impressions of what you covered on Saturday. That was something to behold.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I don't think it was a perfectly played game, and I think Corey made a good point in his column that usually if Florida State knocks off a number one Duke team, it's they just play out of their minds. They just shoot the ball unbelievably well, just so on point defensively. But truthfully, I didn't think Florida State played its best game. I think Florida State can play better than they did in that game, and they still had a lead with just a couple seconds left against the number one team in the country. I thought that. Like you said, the crowd was great. I thought the game was so intense at both levels. I mean, the R.J. Barrett kid, I had no idea. I mean, everybody talks about Zion Williamson. R.J. Barrett was unbelievable. The Cam Reddish kid, I mean, he was talking trash from the opening tip. So it was just a cool game because it really felt like an NCAA tournament game or an ACC tournament semifinal or final. I mean, it was just both teams were playing so hard for a game in early January. And, it didn't go Florida State's way, but it was a tremendous game.
Much more rewarding to watch that style of basketball than what you see when Florida State takes on another elite team in the form of Virginia. Like, I give kudos to Duke. They ought to do it. They have an NBA roster. But at least you can watch two teams get up and down the court and have some fun playing the damn game and utilize the athleticism. And really, it's more towards – you're right, it was an imperfect game, but it's more about the kinds of things that people are gravitating towards when they want to see big-time college basketball.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and it was funny, man. Like I just felt like there was so much ego on the court. I mean, you could just tell guys were going after each other. I mean, like, somebody would make a three and then they'd come down and the other team would hit a three, or somebody would have a nasty dunk and somebody would come down the other end and have a nasty dunk. It was just a fun game, and the crowd was so great. The cool thing about it was there's been a few times where FSU's had some runs of success at home, and the fans have come out and sold out, but maybe the team didn't live up to it that night. Mm-hmm. They just had a bad game, or the other team was really hot. Think about like the Florida game when Wiggins was here on his visit.
I forgot about that one, yeah.
Yeah, and the game just didn't, materialize, or FSU just didn't have a good game. But they really did this time. And so I think even though they lost, I think some of those fans that sometimes are borderline, should I go, should I not go, you got to think that, people are going to want to see more of that. And this team certainly has a lot of fun players to watch here. Kevin Gelly was, just incredible. I mean, and so really across the board, I thought Florida State played well, but they can play better. They can certainly shoot better. And I think they could do a better job on the boards as well.
Well, they also have to protect the basketball better, and I think that is something that when we're going by per possession, they have not done a good job of this year, and they're going to have to do better in that arena if they expect to win against big time competition. Now they are capable, as you just noted, and I think that's the exciting aspect of it. But now I'm really worried about tonight's game, and I think that potentially they're going to put themselves in a position to where their backs are against the wall. Not that they can't climb out of that if they were to fall tonight on the road against Pitt, but you worry about the same team beating you twice. You worry about the emotional preparedness for a team like this. It helps that they're veterans, but are you worried about tonight the way that I've talked about today with us going up to Pitt?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, totally. I just think it's first of all, that Pitt team is entirely different than the one a year ago. They've got these really talented freshmen that are doing a nice job, and Cable has done a really good job of kind of bringing some confidence to that program. And, this quick turnaround and the fact that it's, Florida State, as well as they played the last couple of years, they have not played all that well away from home. And so it's a big challenge. I think from Pitt's one of those teams. I think if you play them at home, I think you're going to win pretty comfortably. But certainly in these circumstances, this is definitely a game FSU could lose, and it wouldn't be the end of the world. It wouldn't be an indictment of Florida State men's basketball, but given the situation. But if you lost it, you'd be 1-3, and just kind of losing some of the momentum that you had built all preseason.
The team, as they're currently constructed, with the minutes being what they are, what do you think is going to change the most from this time to the end of the year? We always watch the maturation process with Hamilton teams because he plays so many people and they come at you in waves. What do you think is going to look different about this team at the end of the second half of the ACC schedule than what we're currently seeing?
I still think you're going to see more of Devin Vassell. He's a freshman and exceptionally talented young guy. The fact that they got him in some of that game was a good sign that they really want to see what he can do. And I think he's a guy that really can help them, I think, athletically, obviously. And he also can shoot the ball decently. I think you always kind of wonder if Chris Kumaje's minutes are going to decrease as you get into the crunch time and games later in the season. So I think that's one thing. I thought Raekwon Gray, they're giving him every opportunity to keep a spot in a lineup. So I think, pretty soon you're probably going to see him start to whittle it down a little bit. Right now, he's basically playing 11 guys. And, that's probably going to decrease a little bit. But I don't think it's going to decrease a whole lot. If I had to guess, I would say, at the end of the day, I would guess Kumaje is going to be the guy that loses some minutes, but they like him, so I don't know that that's a guarantee.
And I actually was proud of Kumaje in this game. 7 points, 3 of 3 shooting. He had the 4 boards and 2 blocks in just 15 minutes of play. I actually think if that block of 15 minutes, especially the second half, is going to be the way he plays, then he's worth having out there. And then I hope I don't know that I'd feed my offense through him at any point, but I would say that if you can if you can get 10 to 15 out of him in which he plays that way. I was most disappointed. I think a player like David Nichols, who clearly was a little overhyped for this game, he was a little too amped up, if you will. I think he's going to come along nicely. I think what hurt Florida State, too, is Nichols, Gray, Polite, Vassell, all of them combined to score exactly 0 points in this game against Duke. They got nothing out of any of those guys. And I agree with you with Devin. I think he's a real good player. More of him, less of Polite is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Again, it's tough to say on that game. And I think, like you said, David Nichols, I think that was a perfect storm. And you could kind of see it coming. He had a couple of really nice performances leading up to it, and so there was all this attention on him all of a sudden, and then he goes out, and then that's a big ask. That point guard for
he's a real deal.
Trey Jones is, man, he's special, and so I think and he probably didn't handle the moment well. That doesn't mean he can't play really well in 99% of the games Florida State plays, or have a different approach next time they play Duke. But you're right. I think, I just think that MJ Walker, PJ Savoy, those guys, they've got to get some confidence shooting. I think that's the one weakness from this team. And really, they've made a concerted effort over the last couple of years to really focus on that and improve their perimeter shooting. Now those guys have to actually knock it down. And I think Nichols is a guy that can do that as well. But really, that's going to determine how far this team can go, because they're not going to – I don't think they're going to be able to just win certainly in the postseason, if they're shooting the way they have these last couple of games.
Yeah, back to the portal article on warchant.com, which is, folks, I would encourage you to go read. Real quick to draw from that, it would make sense, right, if Amir Rasul's as good as gone?
I mean, of the guys that, it's 4 FSU guys that have put their names in, he's the one, I would think is the most likely. He's going into his 4th season. The fact that he had never redshirted gives him the opportunity, if he does transfer, if he doesn't graduate by this summer, he could still transfer and sit out a year and have a year to play. I think you look at that tailback position, Cam Akers and the other guys they have there, they were really impressed with the Grant kid that came in last year. And if Kalen Laybourne comes back healthy, it just doesn't look like he's getting more and more carries. And, I think he makes the most sense. And then, I think the unfortunate thing about that transfer portal is that it all becomes public. It wasn't supposed to be, but these coaches talk, and they also, some other people have gotten access to the database. So names have gotten out there.
That was my next question to you, Ira. That was my next question to you, because it seems to me that's something they're going to have to remedy. You don't want people. It does seem like everybody knows who's coming and going on the transfer portal. It's crazy, and how quickly it gets out there. It means that it's not even difficult to gather this information.
Well, and the challenge is what happens is it's not like I don't think anybody's rushing to tell the media about it. But what happens is people will call people to get information.
Right.
So, for example, when the tight end Alligator Marshall, when he put his name in there, our staff got calls from media who cover other teams who they were hearing up there that those schools were interested in him, and they were trying to get information. What's he like? What kind of play? So, I don't know how you're ever going to stop it. It's not like again, I don't think the coaches are necessarily going directly to the media with this information. Except maybe with some big time guys, the high profile Jalen Hurts and guys like that. That's information that's going to get out pretty quickly to curry favor for whatever reason. But even these smaller guys, you're just going to have people asking questions about them, and that's going to lead to it. So I don't know how you can stop it. But my point, I think, is that there's a negative to it, but I think the positive outweighs it, because the old system was ridiculous.
Oh, it was completely unfair.
By these colleges.
Oh, without question. No.
So,
I'm all for it.
So
I just think we can clean it up.
This isn't ideal, but I think it's a lot better than what it was.
I agree. Good work, brother. Talk to you later.
All right. See you, Jeff.
That's Rashfel, warchant.com. It's a lengthy article. I'm not going to pick out every paragraph there and go through it. By the way, he was referencing for Florida State the 4 players that dipped their toes into the transfer waters, and it was Alexander Marshall, DeMarcus Adams, Xavier Peters, and Amir Rasul. And so I actually really like Amir Rasul. I think he's a good player, and he hasn't had much of an opportunity here. If he leaves, I hate to see him leave, but I understand it completely, and I wish him nothing but the best. He's a good player.
I'm glad we have Peters back. We need a pass rush, and I get that he wants to play some linebacker too, but we need a pass rush consistently.
Yes.
And he looked special in the limited reps he got. The weight game was one of those times where you go, ooh.
Yeah.
He's got
looks
something
like he
for
can
you.
play a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
quick twitch.
I agree with you. The portal's going to lead to constant fear. Our fan base is everywhere. Just what?
Well, now fans.
Who's in the portal?
Fans could be like coaches now. You
Yeah.
know? Constant
Yeah.
paranoia.
Constant. Why is Johnson in the portal?
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, Tallahassee. Thank you for another great year. Tallahassee truly is a Nissan town. Because of that, Nissan has come out swinging in 2019 with January savings like we've never seen before. With up to $5,000 off of 2019 Maximas, Muranos, and Pathfinders. Up to $10,000 off of 2019 Armadas and Titans. You want to save even more? We have a few remaining of most 2018 models that will save you up to an additional $2,500. But wait, it gets better. With our Nissan Zero and Savings event, Kraft Nissan has 0% interest on 14 models, plus 0 down and 0 payments until after April tax day. And our hottest models, the all-new 2019 Altima and the 2019 Rogue, starting at just $21,900. And the all-new Nissan Kick starts at only $18,800 with available 1.9 interest for 60 months. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge, interest rates with approved credit.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
Eat, sleep, fish. Mike's Marine Supply and Skeeter Boats want to get you out on the open water. They're your local Skeeter dealer, custom rigged with the Yamaha outboards. Stocked with a full line of Skeeter boats from the Bass to the Saltwater Bay Series, Skeeter has been recognized for 18 consecutive years as the leader in customer satisfaction for fiberglass outboard boats. Check in at Mike's Marine Supply for the spring specials starting soon. Located at 1296 Coastal Highway, Panacea, Florida, call Mike's Marine at 984-5637. Online at mikesmarinetallahassee.com.
Woodford for the win!
Number 9 Virginia Tech at 4th ranked Virginia. Tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Presented by Peloton.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Good Monday to you at Jay Cameron Show. What if they had won Saturday? Same opinion about tonight? That from Strategy Casters. Hashtag a-hole. Actually, yeah. Yeah, you could say that.
Hashtag a-hole.
Now that you bring it up, I think it's a good point. I think the emotions of that game would probably carry over and potentially be a negative either way. Might be a little easier to kind of ratchet it back up if you're riding a win streak.
I think you'd be able to ride the wave and allow for the bench players to play with less pressure tonight, though.
Right.
I think everybody might be feeling the pressure in a way they wouldn't if the result on Saturday were the opposite.
Well, here's where Ham is great. I will tell you that one of the things I like about him is his even keel and his ability to stay consistent. You know, this is something that we've noticed over the years. Sometimes it can be maddening because we're emotional as fans, and we see that stoicism from him. But I think players, it's just completely appreciated. It's understood that if they're winning big games, he's the same as if they're losing big games. And that allows you to, again, hyper-focus on whatever the game plan is, whatever the scout is, and your own game, because it's understood that these are the standards, and this is what we're looking to do, and that's not going to change with a big win. It's not going to change with a tough loss. And so I think that even keel approach over the long season, over the long haul, is probably what's best there. So, that'll be interesting. Tonight is fascinating for a lot of reasons. We touched on this. This is a vastly improved Pitt team under Capel. They went out and got him after Stallings struggled. Kevin Stallings got fired after just 2 seasons. There was ample amounts of suck and evidence on display that it wasn't going to work with Kevin Stallings. And so that athletic department did a real good job of saying, yeah, I don't need to see another year. I don't need to see us go winless in conference again. They went 0-19 last year in conference, and they went, okay, well, that's going to do it. And, yeah, it's not often that I would tell you to hit the reset button after 2 years. That would be one. You got to win a game, my man.
Oh, yeah, that's 23 in a row until last Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, but they've already had some big wins. They beat St. Louis just like we did. They beat Michigan State, and now they've won an ACC game against a good Louisville team. So they're already, and they have more wins this year than they had last year already. So.
Well, and their freshman Trey McGowens was named ACC Rookie of the Week, a.k.a. Freshman of the Week, and that was largely on the strength of his performance against Louisville on Wednesday.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting combination because there are 3 freshmen that you'll be watching tonight that everybody really likes, and why they're different and why they've had more success is the competence of those freshmen, whether it's Xavier Johnson, Trey McGowan's aforementioned by Tom right there, 6'3" guard averaging 13 points a game, and there's the Tony kid averaging in double figures as well. And then they marry that with a senior who was their leading scorer a year ago in Jared Wilson Frame, who's averaging 11.5 points per game. And again, he was the team's leading scorer just last season. So he's a holdover. So you have that veteran who can score the basketball, 3 young kids coming in, infusing life. And they're much more competently coached at this point, or it appears to be the case anyhow, with Capel, of course, former Duke assistant under Krzyzewski. So, this will be a test. It's weird. I always get the heebie-jeebies with Pitt because we haven't had success against that program. And even when they've been down, they've made it abundantly difficult. We know that. We had to fight like hell not to be their only ACC win last year. That was a 3-point game late into the second half, just not playing well. We were giving up 3-point shot after 3-point shot. And I remember you and I talking about this. We're like, okay, what are we doing? And eventually we went on a run. I think it was a 10-0 run or a 10-point swing, and it turned things around. But even then, even after that run, they came back again late, and we just kind of held on to win, and it wasn't really pretty. But I didn't know this until today, and looking at game notes. Pitt does lead the all-time series 12-4. So I knew that feeling, that ominous feeling of why don't we ever play well against Pitt. I thought that might just be in my head. Sometimes when you suffer a tough loss or a bad loss, it lingers in a way that lets you forget the wins or the high points. I thought that was what was going on with me in this Pitt program. No, they're 12-4 against us. We've split the last 6 when they've sucked. We struggle with this team.
Thunderous dunks in their building, I can remember.
Yeah.
That's what I see. It's a very sterile-looking building. The lighting situation is it's very, it looks like a cafeteria. And then they just moved everything out of the way, and they said, let's go play ball.
Play a little basketball.
But it gets loud in there, and they were always a team that crashed the boards when they were at their best, and you would have to fear them.
Back in the day, yeah. They were they were a physical bunch back in the day.
But the problem is, hopefully fatigue sets in for these freshmen. We're talking about our own fatigue. But they had to go play down, not nearly as far of a travel back and forth, but they had to go play down Tobacco Road, lost to NC State over the weekend. and they come back. But the freshmen have been through the ringer because they had an emotional win on Wednesday against Louisville. McGowan scored 33 in that game.
Have yourself a night, young man.
Yeah, 20 of which were in the first half. But they have to get through overtime after blowing the lead late. And then you play a close game against NC State, you lose just by 6. Maybe, just maybe, the kids are a little bit exhausted and we can catch them that way. But that's what you have to hope for here, because if it's not, then they're building up to this moment. They've seen the ball go through the hoop, proverbially speaking, by getting the ACC win and playing 2 good games against 2 good teams in this conference back-to-back.
Guard-oriented team. They play 9 players a lot of minutes. They lost that game, as you recalled there a moment ago, to NC State, but they played well in that game, 86-80 on the road there. So they certainly didn't embarrass themselves. And I mean, they've got enough tools that if you play poorly and you're still downtrodden, crestfallen, forlorn by the events of the last 2 seconds against Duke, which who could blame you, then they'll beat you twice. Duke will. And that is, my worst fear. Suddenly a team that's played real well, has no bad losses, would be 1-3 in the ACC, and you'd be kicking it. You'd be fighting it a little bit. I still think we'll be all right. I'm not going to come in here crazily tomorrow if we lose this game, but I would prefer that not be the scenario. Would rather not talk about a team 2 games under 500 through 4 in the ACC. 500 much more palatable when you consider at that point your 2 losses would be to Virginia and Duke. One was on the road. One was a last-second buzzer beater. You could handle it.
To me, I feel like this game is going to be 18-15 with about 4 minutes to go in the first half, and we just went on a 7-0 run to get it back within a possession.
It's funny. You and I have been watching enough of these games over the years to think an awful lot alike. We do in general, but I thought that earlier today when I was kind of going over the notes. I thought, man, I actually said in my head, this is going to be 19-16 with a minute to play in the half, and I said that. I'm going to be so pissed.
You're just going to be angry.
Yeah.
We missed about 9 bunnies,
just like,
Oh,
this is ridiculous.
For the
There'll be
putback.
a bad call or 2.
Right. Yeah, so Kabagully, the putback. Oh, he gets it again. Putback. No, that one misses too.
Yeah, and you're just going to be going, okay, so this is what's happening here.
And the color commentator doesn't get our names right because they don't call our games very often. I don't know what cabin Gilles he can't put him back tonight. How many have they missed, man? About 4 or 5?
Well, yeah, it does have that feel to it. And you watch enough of these games over the years, you've heard those calls or something similar to it. And I do. I picture this me just going, man, and my wife seeing the agitation, and we're trying to get the kids down for bed, but that game is moving into the second half, and I'm like, you got them tonight.
I'm seriously tempted to tape it and then pick
Watch
it up
it later.
We'll pick it up at 8 o'clock so I can just zoom through all of the commercial breaks and whistles in case this is a whistle fest or a turnover fest, because that will make the viewing experience less like you're talking about.
Yeah, less stilted, less convoluted and frustrating.
I'll live longer for it,
And you'll live longer if you get a good night's rest most every night. And you can do that these days with MyPillow. Yay, MyPillow. Right now, that 4-pack special continues to be the deal of a lifetime, the best that they offer. It's a 4-pack special that features the 2 regular-sized MyPillows that I sleep on every night, plus the 2 travel go-anywhere pillows, awfully comfortable in their own right. And its money-back guarantee, which has been extended all the way through March. In addition to that, made right here in the good old US of A. You can wash them. You can dry them. Doesn't matter. Doesn't ruin them. In fact, keeps them fresh. They don't lose their shape or anything like that. They're the best pillow you'll sleep on. Go to MyPillow.com. Click in the 979 special there, the 979 ESPN special, and that's the promo code. If you do that, you'll be good to go, and you'll get yourself that special I just mentioned, and it'll be delivered without a delivery cost.
I think Alshon Jeffrey could use a good night's sleep.
That poor bastard. Good player, too. I love when a player takes it that hard. It shows you how much he cares. Even on the heels of winning a Super Bowl, he was devastated. Good guy, hard-working guy, really good player. But he could use a good night's rest, and if he'd order a MyPillow right now, Lord knows he can afford it. MyPillow.com. Plus, if he used my promo code 979ESPN, he'd be in really good shape.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Touch Foundation, which supports local families battling pediatric cancer. This race is a longtime community favorite and is being held at Roberts Elementary School on January 26th. The 1 mile fun run starts at 8 a.m. and the 10K and 5K begin at 8:30 a.m. You can register online, thetrent2019.eventbrite.com. That's thetrent2019.eventbrite.com. Support this race and help a local child leave cancer in the dust.
Coming this April.
2-1 pitch. Fly ball, left field, playable. Ronald Acuna, fittingly. He's got it. The Atlanta Braves are National League East champions.
The NL East champs are back. Catch Atlanta Braves baseball all spring and summer long on Tallahassee Sports Monster 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yo, where the hell are you?
Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you?
The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes.
Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey.
We said Pensacola, dude.
Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders.
Did you just hashtag me?
Hashtag hell yes.
See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, who's celebrating their 95th year in business this year, would like to recognize their newest members.
Hi, I'm Corey Melton, the Vice President of Membership, and I'm proud on behalf of the Chamber to welcome our newest members from December. Canopy Gardens, Center for Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy, Compass Community Pharmacy, Danton Consulting, Data Set Ready, Eck Realty, Fleming Consulting Services, Florida Pro Computing, Golden Corral, Independent Colleges and Universities of Florida, Kiever McKee Engineering, Nuvita Weight Loss, Park Avenue Inn, Parker Services, and Ricardo's.
The Chamber is proud to support over 1,400 local businesses representing over 60,000 employees. For information on how your business can be a part of the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, contact Corey Melton at 850-521-3104. Once again, contact Corey Melton at 850-521-3104.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Dabo Swinney is on the line with me right now. Is it possible that the NFL could be in your future one day?
I don't really think about it, to be honest with you. And there's been teams that have reached out, NFL teams, over the last few years. You know, I love where I am. I love what I do. I love my guys. I love my staff. When you make decisions like that, you're not just impacting yourself. You're impacting a lot of people.
Catch Stephen A. weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Will it be baseball or football for Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray? The answer to that question should be answered relatively soon. The Heisman Trophy winner expected to declare for the NFL draft before tonight's midnight Eastern deadline, although that wouldn't prevent him from agreeing to a new deal with the Oakland A's. The A's, who drafted Murray 9th overall last year, can sign him to a major league contract and offer him significant guaranteed money to choose baseball over football. Multiple NFL teams have reportedly put first-round grades on Murray. They may wonder, though, about his durability, according to ESPN's Ryan Clark.
When you start to evaluate him, you're going to also wonder, for a guy who runs as much as he does, can he take the pounding? Can he take the hits? You're going to hear some of those things you heard about Lamar Jackson. And I think as the process goes through, you heard Adam say 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". It's going to matter what that actual number is.
Ryan Clark, LSU star linebacker Devin White declared for the NFL draft. He's rated as the number 3 overall prospect and number 1 inside linebacker by both ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay. NFL on 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said he expects Scott Linehan to return as Dallas's offensive coordinator in 2019. Also said, though, everything on the team still being evaluated after the season-ending loss to the Rams. Linehan's been the Cowboys' OC since 2014, but he came under more scrutiny this past season, especially during the 3-5 start. Colts GM Chris Ballard said he told backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett he's not going to give him away this offseason, added it has to be the right deal where he is blown away. NBA, the Celtics will be without guard Kyrie Irving tonight versus the Nets because of a bruised right quad. They'll be out without Marcus Smart as well because of illness. Irving said he expects to return for Wednesday's matchup against Eastern Conference leading Toronto.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jay Cameron Show with the Rain of Fire reference today. Unbelievably impressed. Hashtag a-hole. Well, Chris, I never cease to amaze.
Hashtag a-hole.
But I couldn't remember the name of the movie. I'm glad you could. I knew there was a dragon movie with those two, and I liked it.
It was good, huh?
It is good, yeah. It's gritty. It's dark. It's a dragon movie should be dark.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's dark. It's like, imagine living in a world with dragons.
Well,
I know Game of Thrones, whatever.
The whole world's going nuts because they announced the day, buddy. It's April 14th.
I tell you something. Your girlfriend is fantastic. You've known that. She's your girlfriend. But she looks after others, and she knows how I am about serial killers, how much I love serial killers, how much I love to read about them, how much I focus on behavioral science and things of that ilk. She sent me today via the interwebs a link to the upcoming Netflix series on Bundy.
Oh, really?
And she was like, at me. Like,
there you go.
You, sir, are going to love this. And that's just kind. It's rare that you would ever say to somebody, you know, my friend's girlfriend showed a level of thoughtfulness that I truly appreciate. You know what she sent me? A reminder that upcoming is a series about one of the great serial killers of all time. Obviously, folks, you got to understand context. It's horrific. Of course, we all get that. I'm just saying I'm interested in that subject matter. I've admitted that on the air numerous times.
If you had to give up music or serial killer study, which one would you give up?
A serial killer study.
Okay.
I'm never going to give up music. You get amazed at my recall with serial killers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think it's better than music, and it's quite good for music.
But I don't know what it is. I've just always been fascinated by it. And
I just know enough not to piss you off. That's what I know.
What do you mean you don't know? Yeah.
You're schooled in the methods.
Well, I do. Yeah, I do talk to you about unsubs and.
So here's how he did it. I was like, oh God.
Well, but I'm always
copious notes over there.
Yeah, no, I'm always in tune with like, wow, how'd that not give him away? Although the modern serial killers had a great disadvantage. I mean, if just
forensics being what they are.
It's tough to get away with now. But back in the day, that's why you got people forever and a day. The Green River Killer lasted for 20 plus years. Now they said,
Siri, what do I do with this corpse?
They would have caught him in no time. I mean, he was leaving carpet fibers behind left and right. What are we doing? You're done dealing. Okay. Onward we move. It's time for a vision check brought to you from our friends at the law office of Jose Fernandez. I'm sure they love being grouped with all of that.
Open your eyes.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses! My glasses. I can't be seen without my glasses.
That is absolutely horrendous.
I don't believe this call is accurate.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Man, I can see.
It's time for the vision check.
As noted, it is brought to you by our friends at the Law Office of Jose Fernandez. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. That is to say, they don't get paid until you do. 1-855-HOSE-305. Let's try that again. 1-855-HOSE-305. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Mentioned it earlier in the show. Let's just take a sneak peek ahead of what we got here. We got old guys against young guys. Hall of Famers and perhaps Hall of Famers to be. Okay, check that. Maybe one Hall of Famer to be. Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes would be the guy I'm leaning towards there, not Jared Goff, for example. 18 years, the gap between ages, 18 years, 45 days. Drew Brees, Jared Goff, 15 years, 272 days. Care to go through the list dating back over the years? You want to know, you got a fair guess here anywhere in there about other matchups that saw that kind of disparate age?
Yeah, Kurt Warner, Aaron Rodgers.
Nope.
That didn't make the list?
Didn't make the list. Now, every one of
pegged.
these lists, it's a good guess, every one of these lists feature, and there are only 4 more matchups that you can reference. Every one of them is 12 years apart or more.
12 years apart or more.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll give you another hint. Tom Brady's involved in another one.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank right
Blake
now.
Blake Bortles, just last year.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is 14 years, 269 days older than Blake Bortles. Now, I don't expect you to get the big battle in 1972, which I don't recall either. I do recall both quarterbacks, and I do recall seeing them play, but not when this game was played.
Y.A. Tittle versus Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw is one of the members of this game. Good guess, 70s, yes. Mm-hmm. But Earl Morrall was the other. Yeah, Earl Morrall and Terry Bradshaw. 14 years, 108 days. Now we go Fran Tarkington and Pat Hayden, 1976. The Hayden hug is deadly.
No,
That's that. That is that Pat Hayden.
It's that Pat Hayden.
It is that Pat Hayden.
Oh,
yes.
The Hayden hug.
Oh, stop it. Let's move it along.
I think Coach K wanted to give that to a couple of players this weekend.
No, never
Come
again.
here, son.
I'm still so sad.
It's the Hayden hug.
No more.
Basketball.
Stop it. John Elway, Cordell Stewart. That I would not have gotten.
Oh, slash.
1997. John Elway, Cordell Stewart were 12 years, 110 days apart. That's that. I could throw in an extra one in there. Andrew Luck, Tom Brady. Brady's in there 3. Well, you play as long as Brady has. It's bound to happen. But that is on the list as well. Mentioned earlier about the Saints and the Rams and how lopsided it's been, at least when the Rams play the Saints on the road. But again, the last 6 matchups have been split right down the middle with the home team winning every one of them. And, yeah, that's why you fight for home field advantage. I'm very concerned about Drew Brees' arm. Have I said that enough? I'm going to say it again. Something didn't look right. I kept yelling at the TV, what the hell's wrong with this noodle arm of yours? Guy's running wide open. I'm going to throw the ball. Get it there.
Hey, by the way, Aaron Rodgers and Kurt Warner are 12 and change apart. So
should have been on the list.
Should have been on the list.
It's not on the list. 12 and how much? How many?
Well, I got to do like the
well,
yeah,
start doing the days then. Yeah. Figure it out. Maybe they just didn't crack the mustard there with the 12 and 110.
That's probably what it is.
It's
the cutoff right there. They decided to screw me.
At some point, Lang's going to get that one. Patriots, Chiefs. Oh, God, I got to keep repeating myself. The 8th straight conference championship game for New England. Good Lord, that's ridiculous. It ends. They're losing. Kansas City's winning that game.
You think so?
I don't know.
Andy Reid?
I don't know.
He gets over it? He's been to a Super Bowl before.
I was going to say, that's not fair. He's been to a Super Bowl, and if his quarterback didn't shrink in the moment, because his man-child at wide receiver certainly rose up on a broken leg and played the game of a lifetime, Holmes is over here puking his guts out.
And Andy Reid was playing against the same quarterback and the same coach, and it was a lifetime ago.
It's like, good God, guys. No, hey, you were impressed with Kansas City over the weekend. They were good on Saturday. They were real good.
Yeah, they were. Indy didn't hit on a couple of details, one of which I think we've seen the end of Adam Vinatieri, right?
That was weird, man. Oh, Adam.
That was a duff.
Damn it, man. What are you doing?
Chunking the ball.
Yeah, that was
I've seen that on the golf course a couple of times.
From me, standing right next to you, yes.
But then he misses the extra point after it, which is where I go, oh, no. Is that it?
I'm not counting him out. If it is the end, to play till you're 68 like he has is truly something amazing.
That was the thing to me. Is once he missed the extra point, I thought, because that's a big kick in that moment. It gets it to 10, and the momentum is there. But it's something about a missed extra point that takes just a sting out of that momentum.
We know about it in Tampa. That happens all the time on the regular, buddy. A series of kickers missing extra points where you just go, again, with the extra point. There is something maddening about that. It's an extra point. I know they've moved it back. Stop that.
But you're right. Kelsey was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Was the problem there. And then Mahomes making 2 throws, rolling to his right, and then throwing back.
Freak.
Yeah. I thought he would be flappable, right? And no, he was unflappable.
Proved to be unflappable.
That's correct.
That's right. Well,
nobody ever says flappable. That's why I decided to throw it
I'm
out
glad
there.
you threw it in there. That was nice. By the way, that game between the Patriots and the Chiefs in Week 6, if it is a precursor, if it indeed portends of greatness this weekend, then we shall celebrate, because that was a game in which Patrick Mahomes did amazing things after not doing amazing things. It was the tale of two halves. No touchdowns in the first half, 4 in the second, and the 75-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill with 3 minutes to play in the game gave them the lead. And then the great Tom Brady, he says begrudgingly, led a 7-play, 65-yard drive as time expired to kick a field goal, because that's just what the hell he does.
Doesn't it strike you interesting, though, that Belichick clearly had a surprise in store for the Chargers this weekend?
Yes, and he sat over there, beautifully stoic, and stared. Y'all got nothing for
changed.
This. Well, what I'm saying is, I mean, look, if I wasn't so tired of him, I would worship him. The beauty is 5 minutes into the game, because we've been watching this movie, a long time. It's that movie where I've seen this plot. I know where we're going. I know how this ends. 5 minutes in, we're doing this again? So this is what we're doing. 5 minutes into that game, I'm looking, and they cut the camera over to him, and he's got the I got you look on his face, because they're completely discombobulated. Meanwhile, the Patriots right down the field looking like they knew they were going to score right off the bat. That opening drive is just on the table, and as soon as it happens, when they stop the Chargers on the next drive and they get the ball back and they're moving, that's when the camera shot cut over, and he's just got – it was a Belichick smile, which is not a smile at all. Mm-hmm. He's just staring at Lynn and that team and that bench, because you know what he's doing? And this drives me nuts. It's not a I got you. It's not a ha-ha. He's studying your behavior. He wants to see if you're panicked. And, it drives me nuts, but he does do that. He's looking at all times to see, what are they doing over there? Are they rushing around confused? Because I'll stay with what I got if that's the case until they show me they're going to adjust. But if they're calm, like they've got a counterpunch, all right, well, we'll see what we do here. Maybe we'll change things up in advance of this next drive. He does those things. You read articles and books from people that have either worked with him directly or been a part of a team as a player. Those people talk about that's the difference maker, right? That he obviously can game plan during the week, especially if he has your film. But he can game plan during the week and then on the fly judge both your body language and then obviously the X's and O's that we're seeing on the field and shift, because he has a secondary and third plan that is rooted in whatever the base of what they're doing is. And it's really remarkable. And it every time.
It's kind of like this Saturday in the postgame, Ira asked Coach K if he did different things for each timeout. And he said, yeah, we had 3 different plans for those situations based upon everything that happened.
Well, and I'm glad he asked that question, because I wanted to hear the answer to that. I wondered that too. Like every time they were going over there, was he coming up with a different play? He was also looking at what we were doing. So yes,
but he had, but there were different layers to each plan. Now,
I wish he had gone with the second plan.
We all know every plan's got options like a football play.
Sure,
you got progressions and options. The terms might be different, but you have different things that might work out for you based upon how we defend it. But it is interesting to think on an inbound play that just doesn't happen. It takes forever to happen, and you have 2 separate timeouts that you do call different plays.
Is it fatalistic to have been of the mindset that I was, I think you were too, that with each timeout, I felt our chances of completing the upset were diminishing. Like with every passing, not because of anybody thoroughly outschooling the other, but because of the amount of time a Hall of Fame coach has with NBA players to devise a play.
For college basketball.
For college basketball, right. I mean, like, the amount of time that a, gold medal winning
multi-time.
Right.
Time.
So, I'm like, okay, best players, best coach.
It's happened a lot.
Long time to figure it out. Yeah, he's probably going to come up with something. That's my guess.
Well, yeah, I didn't feel like – it's odd. I didn't feel like we were going to lose, but I did feel like there was an open look coming. Like they
you were just hoping for a miss.
I thought it was going to be 2 passes, though. I thought it was going to be a pass, a dribble, and then they would kick it to whoever it was.
Yeah, because they had enough time.
2.8. A loaded
long time.
I thought they might even inbound it deep and then come up.
No, I didn't think they'd do that. But I would tell you that I didn't need to see him shoot it. As soon as the ball is, if we could go frame by frame, the curse words that I'm uttering as it's in the air are blank because he's open. And then as soon as he catches, first of all, he does something. Reddish does something that a good shooter does, and I'm just so impressed with this. He's square, man. He is ready to shoot. He is square. He is already like, gotcha.
Buddy, I mean, we had the angle. We're looking through the glass at it. It's on a direct line. And when he lets it go, all I did, it's like what I do with hockey. If somebody's gearing up to shoot, I don't look at the shooter anymore. I look at the net.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the near side rim because we're through the glass. So I'm looking for back iron. I'm like, come on, back iron. Come on. I was just hoping a freshman.
Rattle it out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, adrenaline gets to you.
Never touched it.
Oh, no. That was as true as it gets. That was me beating my son in horse yesterday with a long 3. Release, rotation, splash, and I said, that's your ball game, son.
Really? So you got the hoop up, huh?
Got the hoop up. It's glorious, and I am no mercy on these boys.
How many man hours did it take?
Well, Matt Millar did a great job along with my aide, and we spent a 6-pack of beer and some music and a nice evening putting it together. So, I don't know.
5 hours?
Yeah. It's too many. But when you're with good friends and you're listening to good tunes and you
when
got
the
a
kids
cold
are laughing,
one, we had a blast. It was good stuff. Got that sucker up. That was in the middle of the week last week, and then this weekend was used to teach them valuable lessons in competition.
It's a beautiful game.
And dominance. People will say, "Are you going to let Clark win? He's 8." No, I don't let him win. I'll give him open looks, but I talk smack. A lot of pressure. Got to hit that one, son. Miss that one, I'm going to make the next one. I guarantee you.
You're just building them. You're building them up.
That's what you do, man. I was shown no mercy.
I believe that. Knowing your dad, I totally believe that.
And my stepdad, too. They would have beat me till I was 40 if they could have. As it were. I think I was 13. Or as it was, I think I was 13 or something like that. And when I won, I remember I almost threw the ball at his face. All those years of frustration.
Oh, no, I know this one. That's your stepdad. I know that story.
Well, he used to throw me in the bushes, foul, and then I'd call foul, and he'd say, that's not a foul. What are we doing? No, I don't do that.
My dad was a lefty, because of course. I feel like all dads are lefties. Unless it's your time, and then you're not.
Yeah.
But he had the hook shot, and it was the most. I mean, he had a runner hook.
You're like, what am I going to do with that?
And he had it down.
You can't block it.
It took time. Thankfully, he is much shorter than I am.
That helped.
That helped.
Due time.
So by the time I'm 13, now it's even footing.
But I learned how to play chippy. I learned that sometimes you run through the man on a block attempt. Sometimes elbows get away from you. Like, I learned all that.
I wasn't that much of a shooter unless it was a 3. I had no mid-range game, so it was all about rebounds and perimeter shots. That's how I did what I did.
That was the Vision Check, multifaceted as it was, brought to you by our friends at the law offices of Jose Fernandez. The law office of Jose Fernandez. They don't get paid until you do. Give them a call today, 1-855-HOSE-305. Offices, Tallahassee and Miami. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
The kitchen calendar may say 2019, but if your kitchen's more like 1992, come into the Home Depot for up to 30% off appliance special buys, like a 4-piece stainless steel Samsung kitchen suite, now just $2,978. More than $2,000 off a Samsung fridge, gas range, microwave, and dishwasher. Better mark it on your new calendar. Up to 30% off select appliances, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details. Electric range available at extra cost. Valid through January 23rd.
You check things all the time, like your email every 10 seconds, or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your credit? Well, Discover makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to everyone for free, even if you're not a customer. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. We call it the Discover Credit Scorecard. And once you know your score, you should check to see if your current credit card is the best fit for you. Check your credit, compare your card. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
O'Reilly. Defend your vehicle from harmful elements and restore shine with Armor All Canister Wipes. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up Armor All Canister Wipes for $3.99. Easily remove dirt, dust, and grime with Armor All Canister Wipes on sale for $3.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
At Township and Collegetown, for the table, by the people is not just lip service, it's their mantra. Tallahassee's largest beer hall offers drafts served in steins and a unique twist on upscale pub fare. Just walk up and order for the table and grab a seat by the people. Some you may not even know. If you're looking for a more intimate gathering, Township offers the Garden, a unique setting to Tallahassee complete with outdoor fireplace and a retractable awning. Oh, and let's not forget the 32 taps and private bar. Book it for your next party or company event. Township Tallahassee, 619 Woodward Avenue in Collegetown.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Michael Barr. Sweden's Olympic leaders met a deadline to submit a 2026 Winter Games hosting plan after satisfying concerns of lawmakers in Stockholm, which threatened to end the bid last year. The campaign bid was at risk in October when Stockholm's new city government coalition cast doubts about spending taxpayer money on the two-week event and asked the Swedish Olympic Committee for more details. Fox says it does not intend to bid for any of the Fox regional sports networks that Disney may sell as required by the consent decree with the U.S. Department of Justice. That's according to a regulatory filing. One of the WNBA's original franchises could be under new ownership soon. According to the New York Times, an investment group led by billionaire Joseph Tsai is close to an agreement to purchase the Liberty. The team is currently owned by the Madison Square Garden Company. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports Report. I'm Michael Barr.
Blue Emu, Blue Emu, down,
Not getting the yardage you used to? Try some Blue Emu Continuous Spray or Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream now. Stop throwing Hail Marys at relief. Both are non-greasy, fast-acting, penetrative pain relief that works effectively to get down deep to the source of pain. Safe to use daily. No burning, no stinging, never greasy, and always odor-free. Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink. Available at retailers nationwide.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Good to be with you. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate you. Hope you had a great weekend. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you get to listen live via the streaming free always. I should note I'm Jeff. That is Tom. You can email the program if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. The WTSM app works for your mobile devices. Good stuff there. That picture of Ken Stabler that Jim just sent me via Twitter is all-time great. Oh, boy. All right, let's get to it. I hate to have to get to it. It's heartbreaking, but I'll tell you what, it was one for the ages. If you were inside the TLC Double C on Saturday, you witnessed a great college basketball game littered with NBA talent on that Duke roster, and perhaps a couple of guys of our own as well. Kyle Bengelli's coming out party. Now, listen, he's been good for a while and been building to this point. It'll be interesting to see what he does moving forward because I've thought he's our most talented player for a little while, but he hasn't put together a game like that just yet. Now he has. Now he knows it's in there. Now we all do. Let's see what kind of consistency we can get out of him. The main thing about that wasn't even just the offense and the overall prowess. It was the ability to stay on the damn court and not commit stupid fouls. Good on you, young man. I was stunned late into that second half when I looked up just to double check. I'm so accustomed to seeing him with 3 fouls, 4 fouls, and I was so worried about it. I took a glance and went, no fouls. No fouls. We're late in this thing. Use them up. Elbow some faces. But anyhow, it was impressive, and his performance certainly gave Florida State an opportunity. In the end, it's Duke with the 3, heartbreaking as it was. The game could be a big booing moment for both clubs, oddly enough. And I think Coach Kane knew that, talked about it as much. I think Coach Ham, frustrated as he was, also knows that his team has the potential to be very good. Here are these two guys. Let's start with Coach Ham here, his thoughts on what we saw after the game. I want to hear from Coach K too, Tom. Let's make sure we get that audio because I really thought he was complimentary. We rip him a lot, and for good reason. And he can be a pompous ass, but certainly his achievements speak for themselves, and I thought it was nice to hear a guy of that prominence talk about this program the way that he did, talk about the game the way that he did, and giving credit. Doff of the cap to him where it's due. But here's Coach Ham first on this game Saturday.
I thought we played against a team tonight in Duke that obviously were very well prepared. I thought early on in the game they created some problem for us, causing us to have 11 turnovers the first half. And you always look back at the last possession and you emphasize that, and that's the game. That's the play that put the nail in the coffin. But those turnovers early on, the 11 turnovers in the first half, and our inability to keep them off the offensive boards in the first half, I thought really made a huge difference in the game. Down the stretch, we had a hard time contesting those shots. I thought they did a very good job. 2 young players, very talented. Some of those shots were contested, and I thought they did a very good job of this making them. And they did a very good job of putting them, staying with their system. We had a chance there at the end. We basically got the things that we were looking for. We just came up a little short today against a really, really good Duke team that has a chance, I think, to win it all. I didn't expect them to get the ball at the elbow. I thought we had that covered. No, I didn't expect them. I expected them to get the ball in bounds, but not a direct pass out of bounds to a guy at the elbow. They did a very good job of creating some misdirection. I got to go back and look at the film and see how he delivered that pass right on the money for a guy, because we had a 7'4" guy right over top of the ball, and I thought that would be enough for them to at least have to go in another direction with that short amount of time on the clock. Great execution by them and great finish by a very good player. I learned that we got to get better. We got to be a little more consistent. We had to shorten our bench up a little bit in this particular game. Obviously, we went with our more experienced players, and I realized that we need to try to accelerate the progress of our rotation players so that maybe they can give us a little bit more. I thought that Trent and I thought our veterans really, really held their own and did a very good job of executing our game plan. But you don't have very many opportunities to make mistakes against a team as talented as Duke.
Leonard Hamilton with audio from warchant.com. And, again, he referenced it at the start of his comments, which was that in the first half, we turned it over on 28% of our possessions. We have had a tendency up to this point, if there is a bugaboo in something that you can hyper-focus on as having grave concern over, it would be the percentage of possessions that end in a turnover. And it's unfortunate because, you go back these last couple of years, the program and the offenses have played at a much higher level without those turnovers. We've been able to kind of curb that problem. That was a problem during some years in which we didn't make the tournament. You've got the experience of a Trent Forrest and others coming back. You wouldn't guess that Phil Kofer would have 5 turnovers in this game. Now, he played well, but 5 turnovers is a big damn deal. And so it's 2 more than his career high in a game. And so, these are something that continue to bug us. But by and large, again, I'm being a little nitpicky here, but that's what coach's job is to do, and it's also an area we can get better.
Well, small victories in this case is you got better in the second half in that regard when you had to. And on Wednesday, we did the same. It was 7 turnovers in the first half against Miami and then 2 turnovers after the break. And through your first 3 ACC games, you're playing 2 really, really good teams.
Oh, really good teams.
So it's going to make you look worse. I get it. Non-conference-wise, we still did turn the ball over a lot. But I think we're getting better. Maybe tonight we'll see one way or the other whether that's true.
Big game tonight. We'll hear from Coach K here in a second. Before we do, he referenced offensive rebounds for Duke, but I got to tell you, with all that athleticism and length, they're going to do that to people. They're really good at it. It should be noted that Florida State grabbed 47% of our own misses in the first half as well. We're really good on the offensive glass, and I talked about that before the game and talked about what to this point has made me impressed. We rebound missed shots. We give we have extra opportunities, putbacks and possessions because of our prowess on the offensive glass.
We do. I think overall in the glass, Zion being out for a half helps that equation. But we
did it in the first half, and he was there.
We did, and the battle that we have down low, you could tell it surprised Duke. They said, "Whoa, this is a little different." You could see it.
Yeah, we did court report, and it was fun because Florida State, other than Gonzaga, is the only team that matched up with Duke to within an inch of their average height. We're the only one by far, really. In many instances, we had the bigger lineup. So it's interesting. They don't see that a lot.
And we're older.
It was obvious. Yeah, we are a veteran club as well. Here's Coach K talking about the game.
Well, I got to tell you guys. Sorry.
Well, we all got to be a part of an amazing basketball game. I was both teams played so darn hard. The crowd was unbelievable. We were fortunate. We were fortunate to win, and therefore it's a great win. And if you're unfortunate to lose, it's a really tough loss. And that's what makes great games. So, again, my hat's off to them. They played great. Mann and Kofor are such good leaders for them. And Kevin Gowey was big time today. I mean, he was big time. I thought they played their butts off, and we did too. Ultimate respect for Leonard and his kids, and I know we feel very fortunate to win, but I thought we earned it, and if they won, they would have earned it. I mean, this team can beat anybody that we've played, and if they have the crowd like that for their home games, that'll help them. That'll help them because they played at a really high level this afternoon, I'm sorry. Well, the fact that you say program is the very first compliment. They have a program here. They don't have a team. There's, and the program is built on values. And Leonard's one of the top coaches in America. And, his teams are always together. And they play hard defense. They are unselfish, and they're talented. And we've had hellacious games with him, and they're going to be a factor in this, in our conference and nationally. They're too good. They're too good, and that's the type of teams that he's produced. He and I are really good friends, and I admire what he's done here, and the manner in which, and they're good kids. They're good kids. So again, I wish them the best.
Well, that's high praise from the Hall of Fame coach that is Mike Krzyzewski, and I like to hear that because certainly I share those sentiments, but he has a slightly more authority in that assessment than I do, and it's good to hear it said about a guy who cares so deeply, who has invested so much in this program, in these kids, in this university, to have that said about him by a guy whose opinion means something in the world of college basketball, big time. Perhaps his opinion means more than anybody else in the game, and so at least in terms of the way it's weighted. So I was happy to hear that because I do think that's true, and I do think that it's good to see it on display in moments like that, even after a tough loss. It's a good thing to hear, certainly, especially after a tough loss. But the challenge tonight is a big one, to be sure. I think it's going to be awfully difficult to get up emotionally for this game against Pitt after, that. Listen, that's a man, that's a gut punch. Just put it that way.
It's a different kind of loss.
It is, man, and it's I say this all the time about getting older and having things come into your life and doing other things. I mean, it's a regular season basketball game, and you've won some big ones and lost some big ones. And as your rooting goes, you learn to take those a little bit better both ways when you win them and when you lose them as you get older. But that one lingered a little bit.
A little vignette from Saturday that has nothing to do with nothing about the game itself. It was just before we got into the second timeout for the 2.8 seconds left to go inbound. They had already reviewed. They said it was Duke basketball. So now it's on the inbounds. They call timeout. So I turn around, and I could see down the hallway into the executive level, which is where we are.
Yes.
And there is this dude wearing Knowles gear, booking it towards the bathroom. I guess he couldn't hold it any longer, so he is just running towards the bathroom.
Oh, no, that's a rookie mistake.
Oh, he's going to miss everything.
What a tragedy.
So we get to the inbound, timeout again.
So he's saved.
I turn around, and this guy is booking it even faster back to wherever he needed to go.
He got lucky.
He got lucky, and then he got his heart broken after. I think it's karma. I think, because of him, this whole thing happened.
And he knows who he is, and he's probably an avid listener.
He looked like our kind of listener. Yeah, that's right.
Smart, educated.
That's what I'm saying.
Well off. Yeah, I think you're probably right. MyPillow.com. Probably sleeps well at night. If he's got a MyPillow, he does. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get the 4-pack special. You get the 2 go-anywhere pillows, which are a slightly smaller version of the already very, very comfortable MyPillow. But you get 2 of those, too. So you got the 2 big ones and the 2 go-anywhere. So you're all set, and you get the money-back guarantee extended all the way through March. Free shipping if you order right now. And as I'm fond of saying, you'll sleep better, you'll snore less, you'll fall asleep quicker. Everybody likes falling asleep quicker. I know I do. And you'll sleep through the night, straight through. None of that waking it up, tossing and turning nonsense. Go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code 979ESPN. That's promo code 979ESPN. That's my promo code. Use it. I want the credit.
That's true. He gets it. He gets credit.
mypillow.com. Promo code 979ESPN. Free shipping for the 4-pack special. Best offer they've ever had, and it's still going. All right. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Patties, 2 slices of Swiss cheese, 2 layers of mushrooms. These mushrooms are beautiful.
It's a really good balance between hearty and savory. That au jus sauce on top.
The creamy au jus sauce. It really sets it apart.
Just adds flavor that makes you go, wow. It is just absolutely amazing.
It's not just a mushroom Swiss burger, it's a Whataburger mushroom Swiss burger. Here for a limited time.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
We're completing our descent and will arrive in TLH shortly.
Oh, I'm so happy to be home.
Once we land, you can take off again with savings from the City of Tallahassee.
What do you mean?
The City of Tallahassee offers rebates for up to $300 in savings when you purchase energy-efficient appliances.
Wow, that would be a huge help.
The city also offers free energy audits.
What's an energy audit?
It's when an energy auditor comes to your home at the time that's convenient for you, examines your structure, and checks your energy and water systems. Then, they recommend changes that could save you energy, water, and money. The city also offers free ceiling insulation grants for qualifying customers.
Man, the city sure offers a lot of ways to save money. Once we land, I will check out all of the products and services the city has to offer. This makes me proud to call Tallahassee home.
Thank you for flying with us today. Don't forget that you can take off with savings with the City of Tallahassee. From rebates for Energy Star appliances to insulation grants. You can save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com for more information.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey. We said Pensacola, dude. Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders. Did you just hashtag me? Hashtag hell yes. See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. Roberts Elementary School is proud to host the 10th annual Trent 10K, formerly the Trot, in honor of Trent McElroy, a Roberts fourth grader who lost his battle to childhood cancer in 2013. All proceeds from the race go to the Trent's Touch Foundation, which supports local families battling pediatric cancer. This race is a longtime community favorite and is being held at Roberts Elementary School on January 26th. The 1 mile fun run starts at 8 a.m. and the 10K and 5K begin at 8:30 a.m. You can register online, thetrent2019.eventbrite.com. That's the Trent2019.eventbrite.com. Support this race and help a local child leave cancer in the dust.
Wolford for the win! Yes! Yes! Number 9 Virginia Tech at 4th-ranked Virginia. Tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Presented by Peloton.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Conference championships for Tom Brady. It's ridiculous. It's never going to end. We are going to be saddled with having to watch the Patriots this time next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. It's interminable.
Did you see the 2.5 minute video that went viral of the guy breaking down the game? And he's like, look at this throw by Brady into this tight window. And it's
just no tight window.
That's what it is. It's just little 5-yard wide open drag routes. He's like, look at this. Nobody can do it like Tom Brady can. My God, you have to make such a precise throw here. And it over and over and over again. And it's true. That's what it was yesterday.
Unbelievable. I mean, I understand that the Chargers on the road again, I did worry, as we talked about, that, hey, if you're picking the Chargers, you do have to look out because the statistics of teams that have traveled back and forth as they have at this time of year aren't in your favor, coupled with the Patriots' record in these kinds of games. But you were betting that, A, this was an average-looking Patriots team for much of the year. This was a very good Chargers defense. It was Phillip Rivers' last run with a lot of weapons, and you thought, okay, it's going to happen. Here we go. We're going to ding-dong, the witch is dead. Nope. I don't know what that defensive game plan was for the Chargers. They should burn it. At some point, you can say we have to get out of the zone. Our 7 defensive backs are getting torched. We're going to have to do something here. They never did. They never did. And if you're going to let somebody throw to either Edelman or James White over and over and over and over again, well, then they're going to keep doing it. That said, it is ridiculous that every now and again in this game, Brady did make a throw where you went, wow, that's still in there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the one to Edelman in the middle of the field. There's the one to the wide side of the field by the sideline.
Yeah, Romo was like, whoa, guys.
Well, that's ridiculous.
That's not an easy throw. Because he had one. He turned down one to his left that was wide open. I think it was an outlet route. And he's like, no, I can get it out there to Dorsett.
And he does perfectly in stride, right where you have to put it. And it reminded me of the throw that he made against the Bucs on Monday Night Football that time. At that time we were texting, I was like, ooh,
yeah,
well, that's ridiculous.
Well, I think he reminds me of Verlander in this way. Verlander, as he gets older, still has got 98, but he's probably got it 3 or 4 times a night.
Right. Just a few times, you got to have it.
But he saves it.
Yeah,
for those
2-2,
moments.
bases loaded, 2 outs, get you some of this.
He doesn't give a damn about the first inning and airing it out. You know,
No.
he's going to pitch. But then if it gets to the 6th and now there's 2 on, nobody out, and you need a K because you want to stay in this game, okay, here comes 99. You go, whoa.
It's just never going to end.
And that's what Brady
God
did yesterday.
Almighty. And, give it up to Josh McDaniels, too. I mean, we talk so much about Bill, and we should. But that was a hell of a game plan.
Well, first of all, I thought L.A. would be able to run the football. They were not able to run the football
at all.
Not at all. I mean, it was crazy.
It's all hail to the Patriots. It is. I mean, if I remove my loathsomeness at this point for that organization, team, players, fans, you name it, all you can do is commend them for being better prepared always and looking. That team didn't even look like the team we watched this year for 16 games.
Yeah.
It didn't even look like him.
Well, that was another thing, and that's, as much as Nance is just Romo really is good at the job, and he described it perfectly in saying that it's the Ravens. Oh, my God, we're seeing the Ravens again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Belichick clearly was preparing, but he didn't install everything until game week. A lot of times you'll be prepping and installing, and then you're just going over a lot of things after the bye week is over. But he waited. He saw what Baltimore did that worked, and he said, we're going to do the same damn thing. Question is, what can he do to stop Pat Mahomes if he's going to throw back pass like that every 5th play? And it's on the road there.
Well, what you're going to have to do is keep him in the pocket. But I think the other thing that's abundantly clear for the Chargers and a compliment to the Patriots is they weren't facing Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That was pretty obvious. They're light years apart.
Well, that's true, but it seemed like Ingram was just, making mincemeat of a decent offensive line, and yesterday that was not the case at all.
No, it's
they didn't move him off his spot till way, way, way too late in the game.
Also, I think if you're the Chargers, as much as I'm going to criticize the defense, at the back end of the defense, is Bosa going to show up at any point here and get some? What are we doing? My man, where the hell were you? Period. Where have you been?
Still at Ohio State, apparently.
God, dog. I don't know if he's fully recovered from the injury. But
better hope not.
Well, he's too good. I mean, we've seen him dominate, so that's strange.
But when you have 2 pieces like that in a line, right, and Bosa could be, at 70% of himself? And you would think with Ingram, the way he's playing.
Yeah.
But Ingram was completely stoned.
Totally stoned. Maybe in reality. Chiefs, Rams, Saints, Patriots. It's that order for your offensive football teams in the rankings for the season, and that's who's left. So it's a game of offense. And there you go. Patriots last on that list, as noted there. The Chiefs averaged 35.3 points per game. The Rams averaged 32.9. The Saints 31.5. The Patriots 27.3. One thing to mention here, and we did earlier, but when we talk about these games and the scores and just the consistency and all of that, there's no getting around that this maybe needs to be it for Drew if he wins it because the arm is gone. He can't make throws. It's ridiculous. If it's not 20 yards or closer, he's not making the throw. And so, I love him, and he was making those throws earlier this year, but it's gone. Something's wrong. I want to know if he's hurt.
Yeah, he's guessing. It's like he's guessing the length of the throw.
It's crazy.
Because there are a lot of open things there.
Oh, my God. He's got touchdowns right at the beginning of the game, and he underthrows it. He's Now you give him credit on 3rd down time and again making big throws to Michael Thomas, but you gotta make better throws than he made down the field.
But the irony of it, too, is that it's an underthrow that actually wins them the football game because if you hit that route, the Selleck throw up to the left, if Foles hits that and he's open, that's the game. Because what is that, 21-0 at that point?
Oh, yeah, before the interception.
It's the Lattimore interception.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got him beat, but it was just an underthrow. And if you hit that,
you're probably going to win.
I mean, that's more than a standing 8 count. I think they are knocked out of the game. That building was already in shock, and they were just waiting for the next thing to go wrong.
And it's crazy. What's funny to watch is how one play, and you're right, because 21-0 is a lot different than 14-0 with a pick. What's crazy to watch, though, is how a team can dominate 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes of a game, 14 minutes of a game, and the rest of the game, the Eagles are lucky they didn't lose by 35 points.
Yeah.
They don't do anything the rest of the game at all.
Well, the key there is it's the 10-minute drive or 11-minute drive.
11-minute drive, yeah.
And the reason that drive was even more demoralizing is they probably cleared about 130 yards because of all the penalties. And they overcome all of the penalties.
Time and again, man.
So that, to me, is the longest drive in NFL history.
It's felt
because
like it.
With all the penalties assessed, it's not just about where they started. You tack on 25, 30 yards.
2nd and 20. There's a 3rd and 16. There's a 3rd and 12.
That's the one where if you're kicking yourself today, like Director Matthew is, I'm sure, I mean, there are two guys there, and he's standing in the middle of a zone. It's like, you know what? I don't think anybody else is coming around here. You may as well find your man and mark up because, I mean, even a 10th of a second puts it at a 4th and 1, and anything can happen there. Sometimes Peyton gets in his own way. Like last year against Minnesota, he called a trick play in that moment and he does that sometimes even still.
And he's a great coach. But he is a great coach. He's done a lot for that team. He schemes the hell out of what they have, especially limited with what Drew's arm is right now. It's interesting. I would. Obviously, the missed field goal pisses me off a little bit. But if you're talking about play calling and mistakes, what are they doing those last 2 plays?
Yeah.
You've got it. I mean, let's get a little closer here. Let's get 5 more yards.
Yeah.
Play for that. He's going to make that field goal if it's 5 yards closer. Instead, you butcher that. Bennett comes in and just basically rips his head off 4 yards back.
Peyton and Breeze are of one mind, and that's really awesome to watch and see develop. But
they looked panicked. It was so weird there at the end.
Outside of being a Bucs fan, and having to deal with them for decades, it feels like.
Sure.
But they will have a brain fart now. I mean, whether it's Breeze with delay of games.
Well, that happened on that play. That play gets busted up because not just because Bennett's good, but they have to snap it when they do, and he knows it. So he takes off. And it's all because Brady's like looking over to the sideline.
Yeah.
What are you looking to the sideline for? We're trying to get 3 more yards to kick a field goal. The game is over.
No,
what are you doing?
They are, every once in a while, they do just the stupidest things. And you're like, well, good God, if you got out of your own way for 4 plays a game, you might score 50 a game.
Well, their offense has taken a sidetrack in the latter half of the season. We saw it against the Bucs. I mean, they have moved the wrong direction here for much of this season, and much of the back half of the season. And I can't help but think that's directly correlated to something going on with Drew's arm.
It could be.
I mean, I think it has to be. I don't think teams are having to defend the whole field.
Well, and, buddy, I'll tell you what. If the Rams can run for 200 yards.
Forget about it. It's over.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but
C.J. Anderson from the top freaking rope.
The Saints' run defense is really good, so we're going to see.
It's a hell of a matchup.
It's a fun matchup. The matchups are great. I mean, in truth, we got kind of what we wanted here. I mean, if you just looked at the bulk of the regular season, we'd probably say the Chiefs are the best team in football.
Yeah.
And at varying points, the Saints and the Rams were. At no point was the Patriots. But they're the Patriots, and that's Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
One win away.
Yeah, here we go
going right
again.
back to anything can happen.
Here we go, right? Oh! Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Superlube, for better gas mileage and a longer lasting engine.
How I love to superlube my car, yes sir.
Coming this April.
2-1 pitch. Fly ball, left field, playable. Ronald Acuna, fittingly. He's got it! The Atlanta Braves are National League East champions!
The NL East champs are back. Catch Atlanta Braves baseball all spring and summer long on Tallahassee Sports Monster, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. Sweden's Olympic leaders met a deadline to submit a 2026 Winter Games hosting plan after satisfying concerns of lawmakers in Stockholm, which threatened to end the bid last year. The campaign bid was at risk in October when Stockholm's new city government coalition cast doubts about spending taxpayer money on the two-week event and asked the Swedish Olympic Committee for more details. Fox says it does not intend to bid for any of the Fox regional sports networks that Disney may sell as required by the consent decree with the U.S. Department of Justice. That's according to a regulatory filing. One of the WNBA's original franchises could be under new ownership soon. According to the New York Times, an investment group led by billionaire Joseph Tsai is close to an agreement to purchase the Liberty. The team is currently owned by the Madison Square Garden Company. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Blue Emu! Blue Emu! Down, set, hike! Not getting the yardage you used to? Try some Blue Emu Continuous Spray or Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream now. Stop throwing Hail Marys at relief. Both are non-greasy, fast-acting, penetrative pain relief that works effectively to get down deep to the source of pain. Safe to use daily. No burning, no stinging, never greasy, and always odor-free. Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink. Available at retailers nationwide.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
You check things all the time, like your email every 10 seconds, or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your credit? Well, Discover makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to everyone for free, even if you're not a customer. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. We call it the Discover Credit Scorecard. And once you know your score, you should check to see if your current credit card is the best fit for you. Check your credit, compare your card. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Dabo Swinney is on the line with me right now. Is it possible that the NFL could be in your future one day?
I don't really think about it, to be honest with you. And there's been teams that have reached out, NFL teams, over the last few years. You know, I love where I am. I love what I do. I love my guys. I love my staff. When you make decisions like that, you're not just impacting yourself. You're impacting a lot of people.
Catch Stephen A. weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Yeah, now you got to get back up for it, and I don't think it's easy. I'm concerned, as we've talked about on and off today, what comes up in about an hour is a game that is going to be tough emotionally, physically, I think certainly they have the depth and the wherewithal to be ready for tonight's game at the Peterson Events Center in Pittsburgh. But emotionally, the adage regarding don't get beat by the same team twice is in full effect tonight. I feel like tonight's loss, if it happens, could very well be losing to Duke twice. And that's unfortunate because, Pitt is a decent team, not a great team, 11-5, 1-2 in the ACC coming off the win, and probably feeling good about themselves. And so they're going to be in a good place emotionally. And I wonder if we're able to match that early. You get down on the road in the ACC, you're already perhaps a little overwhelmed emotionally. It can be awfully tough to climb back.
I mean, they lost over the weekend, but no shame in going down to NC State, a top 15 team, and keeping within a couple possessions. That after beating Louisville, who turns around and goes to Chapel Hill and does what it does.
I was going to say, yeah.
So there you go. Life in the ACC, right? We always talk about it and joke about it. Well, sometimes it's not something to joke about. And today's one of those maturity games. I keep coming back to that word, I think, with this team, because there were times in the non-conference slate you saw we were well aware of how much better we were than our opponent. And one run is going to fix this whole thing. So we'd go on the run and then ice the game. You can't mess around and do that kind of stuff against teams that have a little bit more in their punches. And Pitt can punch back a little bit, as they proved last week at home against Louisville.
Well, that was the win I was referencing. Sorry, you're right to have brought up the subsequent loss. But, yeah, that win was kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I went, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. So the fact that they did that, and then Louisville went on to do what they did.
Well, and it's a gut check, too, because they blew the lead. And Louisville ends up tying it going to overtime. You think, oh, man, here you go. So the team that has the better coach and, obviously a little bit more talent at Louisville, they're going to end up winning out, and Pitt's going to lament a missed chance. But no, they have the heart to fight through the adversity, a mess they made themselves. But that's a sign of a tough team.
Any chance MJ Walker is going to be a guy that can carry us on a night? It's the young lads, it's the guys that you're going to need now that, that veteran bunch has been through the trenches. They've been through it all, and I think that one hurt him. I'm going to need some of these younger players to step up, whether it be, MJ Walker's a sophomore, but we're waiting. We're waiting on a night where he drops 20 and 7 or something, and we go, okay, there it is, it's there.
Well, I think also it's a night for Fiondu. I mean, you want to follow up the performance on Saturday. I'm not saying that he needs to prove anything more tonight, but if you're going to elevate your game to a place that he took it for an afternoon on Saturday, then you've got to follow up that performance with another one and then keep on. I mean, you could hear it out of Leonard in the postgame when he was asked about the great performance. He says, well, I'm not going to say he's at that level. He hasn't cleared the hurdle to the next level yet. Ask me in March. And this is what he's talking about is that's great you can do it once. But the truly great players who are going to get paid a lot of money, night after night after night.
I think, and I said on Friday, and I said in our court report that I think he's our best player. And then he played like it. So that's where he should live. This is the kind of player he is. He showed all kinds of glimpses, which is what led me to say I think he's our best player. But admittedly, he hadn't done anything like that in a game of that magnitude against that competition. He rose to that place mentally where the physical tools were able to match, and catch up, or his mental aspect was able to catch up with the physical tools, I should say. And now, again, we're talking about the mental challenge of getting back up for this. Well, Cabangeli can do that on a consistent basis because of the physical tools. Mentally, is he there again tonight? Yeah, I understand what Leonard's doing. He's trying to press the button. Like, we kind of need you to be that because, frankly, right now, we don't have another guy that I feel like, other than Kofor. I mean, you got to give it up to Phil Kofor. He played really well, and we just aren't hitting shots from beyond the arc unless he's shooting them, pretty much. And so he's a steadying force and an experienced steady force at that. And I actually would expect him to show back up tonight and play well.
If it's in his legs.
If it's in his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he played well. Oh, man, it lingers. It just lingers, that loss. I was so proud of this team, and I would hate for them to have to put their backs up against the ropes and move now because if they lose tonight, it's understandable, but it puts you in a really bad position at 1-3 now where the wiggle room isn't there, and you've got to find a way because if you have one poor performance where, and it happens in this league, where on a night for whatever reason nothing's going down and guys just aren't playing well, and there's no synergy. You can lose to a team you're not supposed to, but if you're 1-3 and that happens, you're in trouble. You know, this league, the losses can mount in a hurry if you're not careful. And so they're too good to put themselves in a position where you're going, I mean, after all, their losses are on the road at Virginia, where everybody loses, against that kind of team and that defense. They lose at home to an NBA team in the last second shot that it was in Duke, and they lost to the defending champions. That's all the losses they have, and yet we're sitting here going, I'm a little worried.
Well, for tonight, yeah. I mean, you're not saying you're worried about bubble status or anything like that right now, are you?
No, but I think if you get to 1-3, it can affect you mentally, and I just don't want to see them up against it, having to push themselves this early in ACC play to where there's not a lot of wiggle room. Not that they couldn't bounce back and go on a 4 or 5 game win streak. They absolutely are talented. That game tells you what they're capable of. That game tells you what they're capable. I want to commend Duke, by the way. That's a fun way of watching and playing basketball. Not Virginia's nonsense. Like this allowed athletes to get up and down the floor and play the damn game.
They have to, because they don't shoot the ball well enough, well, at least until the second half.
Yeah, they'll shoot well by the end of the year. They got too much talent. They'll shoot well.
I mean, come on now.
Well,
Barrett and Reddish were 5 of 22 combined in ACC play from beyond the arc.
Well, they'll hit at a higher rate from here on out. You watch now that they have that confidence. They're too talented. Too talented. And I was worried about that. I said, look, they'll hit their threes. They're going to hit threes. They just will. When you're recruiting the top pick, the third pick, the fifth pick, at some point, that's all going to shine through.
Well, I think they don't do it as well. They don't do it as often if Zion's in the game, oddly enough. But what that does, though, on our end of the floor is the rebounding advantage and the ability to dunk at will, like we did for a stretch in the second half. I think that's taken away, obviously.
I love our offensive rebounding. I mean, man, do we get after the offensive boards. And that's why I was imploring even guys that are average shooters to shoot. If they're going to leave you open and sag like that, you got to shoot, because we're awfully good at getting second chance points, putbacks, and the like.
That's if I'm trying to feel positive at the close of the show and just a little over an hour away from Florida State basketball. How about that? A weeknight game that starts at 7. We're not afraid. Isn't that nice? You know what I mean? Like, there are some teams that are timid. It's almost like when Jimbo had said, how you respond to success tells you more about yourself than how you respond to failure. We're not afraid of the success. We're not afraid of the stage.
It always depends on, I think that statement, by the way, that Jimbo talks about, I think that is a case-by-case basis. I think when you're really young, failure can be the thing that drives you to where you're like, okay, we're not doing this, and you bounce back. I think when you're a veteran squad, a tough loss like that or a great win is part of the entire resume that now you've been around. You've had these moments. This is a team that went to the Elite Eight. Like you said, they're not afraid of success. They've had lots of it.
Well, the magnitude of the moment, it doesn't swallow them, that kind of thing.
Now,
no. Did they make mistakes down the stretch? Sure, but I don't think it was for that reason. They're saying to themselves, oh, we're up 5 on Duke with 12 to play. We just got to run this clock out. They keep attacking, keep going, and they do that.
Yeah, let's hope tonight. I think the most encouraging thing that could happen is to go up there and beat the brakes off of Pitt. That would be something. I would be almost in an odd way tomorrow talking about that with the level of pride in my voice that I had post-game against Duke. You and I watched that game together along with a bunch of other friends. We walked back to the deck afterwards, and we were kind of vetting what we had just seen and lamenting the end, of course. But we talked an awful lot about what an atmosphere that was, just as I've done here today, and what that shows you. That's as talented a team as I've ever seen come through here. I know Corey Clark wrote that on warchant.com, and I agreed with him when I read it. I thought, yep, I was thinking the same thing. It's unbelievable how gifted athletically and how long and how fast that team is, Duke is, in transition, how effortlessly they seem to attack the rim off of made baskets. I mean, it was nuts to watch that. And so the fact that we were toe-to-toe on that day, really, that game, as Coach K noted, could have gone either way, and you would have doffed your cap to either one because it was won, not lost. And I think he's right about that. That ought to embolden you, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're going to see in a little bit over an hour.
Well, it's nice that you have 10 or 11 options, right, for a game like tonight. And obviously we had to shorten the bench on Saturday. once again, we're flirting with disaster, but we almost came out on top. But this is a night where you can go to that bench, use that bench for all it's worth, which is key minutes in an ACC game like this. And I think also emotionally speaking, we don't play till Sunday. Air it out. That message before the game.
Let it ride, baby. Let it ride.
Guys, you can relax for 2 or 3 days. They won't say it in so many words, but you know what I mean. It's air it out tonight. We don't play forever. We've got another 3-4 days that I could give you where it's mostly body maintenance and film work and review before we get it fully back into a 100% effort practice. That's what I would think the message is going to be tonight.
Well, and the other part of this is 3 of Pitt's top 4 scorers this year are freshmen, so they're having to rely on awfully young players too in terms of, okay, look, their scoring comes from this group. We're long and deep and athletic. How do they react when they see us? We're so concerned about our emotional state right now, I have to sometimes check that and say, well, let's see where Pitt's at. Are they ready to play big boy ball?
What does the score look like at the under 8 in the first half, I think? Because they're jazzed for us tonight the way we were jazzed for Duke on Saturday. It's just that simple. That atmosphere is going to be crazy.
I don't disagree. I think you have to survive this early on. And by the way, you didn't get a lot when you looked at the bench. You got nothing from Raekwon Gray. You got nothing from Anthony Polite. Not that he needs to be out there all that much. You got nothing from Devin Vassell. You got nothing from Nichols, who was overhyped and too frenzied for much of this game. Can any of those guys, not named Anthony Polite, I don't. Ham's got a thing for him, but I don't. But can you get something from one of these guys tonight? To me, it would be Nichols.
Well,
to me, it would be Nichols.
Well, he's shown that he can learn it too. I mean, if you remember, in the middle of non-conference play, we're saying, "Ooh, boy, this game looks like it's a little too fast for the young man."
Yeah.
And then what happened? He reacted, he adapted, and then he became a key player. So much so that I don't think we win last Wednesday against Miami without David Nichols for long stretches of this game, giving us good offense, good possessions.
Yeah, he was really good.
So I look for him to bounce back tonight. I agree with you there. And then the other guys just need to play minutes. Talked out of both sides of my mouth. I wanted them to short the bench on Saturday, but tonight is a night where you might be able to get those guys minutes and
steal
a chance
some
to
things
perform.
here and there. Yeah. By the way, did we say it enough today? I don't know. Good on you, Chris Kamaji. I mean, he played really well in that game.
Yeah, the second half specifically.
He was really important in the second half, and if he's going to give you anything close to that on a given night, I mean, we would be beside ourselves. I mean, it's not the points. He scored 7. But it's the 3 dunks, it's the good defense, it's 4 boards, and
presence around the rim, both sides of the court.
15 minutes, there's 2 blocks, 4 boards. He's altering shots, he's getting putbacks or alley oops. He made one of his 2 free throws. I'll take that from that 15 minutes right there. You give me that every night, we're golden. Then you have real value.
Yeah, because it's he and Kabengele. It's just that 40 minutes from those two. That's
unbelievable.
Incredibly efficient.
All right, so Duke, if you're not sick of them already, then tune on in here in mere moments as we get Duke at home at Cameron against Syracuse.
Hello again, Tallahassee.
He actually temporarily got a respite from our ribbing because he was good. He was good in that post game. He rightfully complimented not just those players, that game, that atmosphere, but the program and Coach Hamilton and his staff.
As I always do. I always do.
Good work out of you, not Coach K. Good work out of you, Matthew. And, what's that, tip at 7?
Yeah, 6:45 pregame.
There you go. See, we got something for you every night, every freaking night. Be well, everybody.